So you may find that starting a new bullet journal can be just like a little bit daunting, and that's how I find it. So that's why I always like to start with pencil first, and that is what we're doing today. We're effectively taking these small kind of thumbnails of the layouts and transforming them into actual size layouts in my new journal. So you can see the new journal is a traveler's size, whereas when I drew these out, I drew them all in A5 because I wasn't sure if I was going to go with travelers or square, but travelers it is. So there's going to be a little bit of, I don't know, tweaking of these kind of sketches to actually get them to fit properly in the new journal. But I'm very excited to get started because I'm very excited to get into my new journal. I haven't tried a travelers before, so that's pretty exciting. But anywho, you can see that since we last spoke regarding the whole like setup process of my journal, because last time we looked at this page, we were doing the kind of planning of what layouts we wanted in there and what order we wanted them in. I have made a couple of changes. So a couple changes I made were that I wanted to have my AOP and Friday fun pages, or like I wanted to have those as pages in my start of journal setup. So I'm going to be putting them in between the 101 things, self-care bingo, and then the media consumed sections. So that's what this little asterisk is for. And I've also decided that I'm not going to put any goals pages in my start of journal setup. And this is because this year I'm doing goals on a quarterly basis, yeah? So like the first 3 months of the year, the second 3 months of the year, so on and so forth. So for the first 3 months, we had January, February, March, just in case you didn't know. Those ones are obviously gone. Those 3 months for their goal setting, or like goal planning, I suppose, I put those in my brainstorming book. Mainly because I wanted to be really freeform, really messy, so I didn't want to have to try and make it kind of like neat, which I immediately feel I have to do if I put it in my everyday journal. So those went in there. But I kind of found, especially towards the end of that period, that I wasn't really checking in with my goals or my goal actions as much as I could have been. So for the second 3 months, January, February, March, April, May, June, there we go. For April, May, June, I decided to put those goal plans in this journal. So I put them in the kind of April pages in here to map them out and figure out what I was doing, which has worked quite well. I didn't necessarily get those plans done as soon as I would have liked to, but having them in here has still had benefits. So my initial thinking was like, okay, cool, with a new journal, I'll actually make sure that those pages are in here and I'll put them at the start because I always like my goals up the front. But then I remembered that the quarter ends at the end of June, so like April, May, June, and April and May are in this journal, which means my next journal is only getting June. So it felt kind of odd to have 4 spreads dedicated to layouts that are only for the first month of that kind of journal's lifetime right at the front of the journal. So I've decided to remove those, and I'm just going to continue using the like goal setting pages that I have in this notebook. And then once we get to the next quarter, which is going to have at least 2 of the months that will be in this journal be related to that, then I'll put them in the journal at that point. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. So that's why we've changed this. But today we need to get rid of this guy because we're not using a pen. We're going to be using a pencil. In terms of pencils, I know a lot of people prefer to use like a mechanical pencil because it's a little bit more fine tip and you can get a little bit more kind of detailed, precise with it. I personally prefer to use, what is this, a 2H pencil. I know you can't see that. It's very blurry and it's very faded, but my 2H pencil is a really nice light lead. So when I do sketches and stuff, it's not super dark, which means that when I erase the pencil, it doesn't kind of leave behind residue or anything like that. I also find that with mechanical pencils, I'm like really heavy-handed, so I end up making kind of grooves in the notebook, which is not really the business. So yeah, I kind of try to tend to avoid them in general. But in terms of working through this list, I don't think we're necessarily going to work through in order, but we might start with the year at a glance. Something that I have done, put this guy to the side, something that I have done to start with because I just wanted to make sure that I got the pages in the right order because, as you saw, we added some pages there and got rid of some. I've just very lightly, and you can probably barely see it. Let's see. Can you see it right there? YAG, year at a glance. So I've gone and made some little kind of like pencil markings or little like kind of name labels so I can see what I'm putting on each page. So foot log for future log, and all of that kind of thing. Yeah, no, different pencil leads are really important, I find, because if we go grab some pencils. So here's a little pencil stash. This guy here is a 6B pencil, and this one here is a 2H pencil. Let's see if we can write with them at the same time, like kind of applying the same amount of pressure. You can see how different that is, right? And this guy here, like if I start to get heavy-handed on this darker lead pencil, which is a 6B pencil, that one is going to be a lot harder to erase. Let's hope that I can actually erase it now that I put a giant line in the middle of my page that doesn't need to be there. Yep. All right, we need an eraser. Has anybody ever actually like finished an eraser? Because I swear I've had this eraser for years. You can tell how long I've had it because it's just a mess. Like since at least I was in school, or at least high school, and I still haven't used it up yet, so it's still going strong. Alrighty, so we know that this is going to be the year at a glance, and if we have a look at our little emblem sketch thumbnail bits here, so we can see that for the year at a glance, I was planning on having 2 columns of 4 months. So we're not going to fit the whole year in, but we're just going to fit, that much time. I'm thinking that this is going to be, let's see, we start in June. So July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. Or do I want to put the last 8 months of the year? No. I want to have June for this one. Okay. June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. Okay. So you're January, you're December. We need to go and have a look at some calendars. So this is also part of the reason why I like to sketch things in first, because if you've ever done a handwritten year at a glance and you've stuffed up one of the calendars partway through and then put everything off course, that is like the worst because it is so much work to fix it if you're going to actually fix it on the page, or you have to stick stuff over it or like whatever. Not the business. Don't want to have to do that. So instead, we are going to go and find a calendar. What did I say this one? December, January. Yep, December, November, October, September, August, July, June. Yep. That looks good. Because this journal starts in June, I want to start my little year at a glance in June. Very good. Scroll. Now, in the interest of saving ourselves time, because we do not want to have to write out every single day of this year at a glance, because I like to think that I can count. Most of the time I can do that. So I don't like to put in every single number on these mini calendars. I usually just put in some identifiers. For instance, the first day of the month and the last day of the month, and usually 7, 14, 21, and 28, just so that I don't trip myself up. Yeah. So my journal exactly like that. Awful. So I am going to have my little calendars be all the way to the bottom, so that allows space for a title at the top, if I have the space for it. This one here is 25, Merry Christmas, 26, 27, 28, which means you're 21. This one is, what's before 21? 14, 7, which means you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which means you're 31. There we go. I also like to put in the week numbers, because that's something that I actually reference. You know what would actually be super helpful? Instead of having to do this off a calendar, I could just use the year at a glance that I already have in this notebook. And the initial idea behind doing this one as a kind of stuck-in piece of paper was that I could transfer it to my next journal, but this will not fit in there. So that was just like kind of a little bit of poor planning on past Jess's part, but it's fine. She tried. Alrighty, we'll move this guy to the side so I have a little bit of space. You think it sounded nice and punny. Well, that's good. I'm glad that it came off punny and not just like, Jess, what the heck are you on? So in the interests of actually having you guys be able to possibly see what I'm doing, I might get out a mechanical pencil, even though I just said I wasn't going to use one. But these ones they're numbers, so I think I'll be okay. So 1 and 31. Is that a little easier to see? Yeah. Alrighty. 7, 14, 21, 28. Go. And in terms of week numbers, we've got 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. There we go. Cute. So how much space do I want between each of the calendars? I think I'm just going to put one column of space because I would like to have some decoration down the side, and the less space that I have between the different calendar boxes, the more space that I'll actually end up for like having decoration. Because once I put the calendar box in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we only really have 2 columns of not 2 columns of rows, get out, 2 columns of grid boxes here and the kind of edge of the page. It's not like a lot of space for decoration, but hopefully it'll be enough. Also, I know it's only 10 minutes in, but I haven't had a drink today. So, tink. And look at this. What is this? Water. Oh my god, who even is this? It's not even Jess right now. It's an imposter. All right. So the question was, how do you get your sketches to come out so light? I have tried and failed so many times. I find it's, like we talked about at the start, it's kind of down to the pencil, I find. So different pencils have different hardnesses of the lead, and I think it's something like a softer lead gives you a darker finish. No, what's the word? Because okay, I'm not super savvy on pencils. All I know is that you have the H series, which is hard, which means less graphite gets put down on the page, and then you have the B series, which I think is the softer one, and then more graphite gets put down on the page, and then like the higher the number, the more graphite that gets put down on the page for at least the soft series. I find the 2H is just like a really comfortable place in terms of you can still see it, but well, at least in person you can still see it, but it's not super dark. Personal preference. But right now we're using the graphite in the, what do we call it? The mechanical pencil, just so that you guys can kind of see what I've been doing. I know, clearly I've been kidnapped because we don't drink water here. What even is this? I'm trying to be good to my body. My body's just like, please hydrate me. So I'm going to put in a little line to signify that that's where the header is going to go. So we're going to have a 1 centimeter header and then a 0.5 centimeter break. So effectively just like this one, is just we're putting on it here instead. Putting it on here instead. So if you're December, then you're November, and you're October. Which means October's 28th is on Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, week number. Cool. 43. Vogel's making bird noises, and I don't know why. I don't know if you can even hear him, but I'm just like, shut up. We're trying to do things here. We're trying to count. Don't need your bird noises up in here. 1 and 39. That looks good. And, week and Monday. I mean, I don't need to put the Monday in. I always do a Monday start calendar, so that's kind of fine. But I have already put this in the wrong place. And this is why we pencil first. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let's hold you guys up. So like I told myself, I was going to have the calendar here and then a 1 centimeter space for the header. And then I was going to have a blank row, but I've gone and put the 28 and the 43 in that blank row. So all of this needs to be moved up 1. This is why we pencil, because if I didn't pencil, that would be in pen, and then I would be sad. I would be sad. There we go. What I might do, just with my pencil here, is go and very lightly mark in the actual calendar grid. So 1, 2, 3 centimeters. 1, 2, 3, and then a centimeter for the header, and then the break. 1, 2, 3, and then the header, and then 0.5 centimeter for the break. 1, 2, 3, and then the header. And then we have 3 rows of docker boxes at the top that I can use for my page title. If I want a page title, which I might do. I might just put like 2023 or something like that. Yeah, I know, that's the thing. It's in part the fact that we've got like quite a high brightness. I'm going to see if we can turn the brightness down possibly so that you guys can Nope, that's the wrong one. If I turn the brightness down a little, can you kind of see my pencil sketches better? It kind of looks like I'm planning in the dark now, but because I know that that's like one of the, I guess, like you could say like tricks, quote, and it's not necessarily a trick that people who film their bullet journal setups use, so that then it kind of looks like they're just going straight in with pen, but they've actually got pencil on the page, and that's because the brightness of their lights is bright enough that you can't see the difference. So hopefully you can see that a little better. I feel like it's really, really dark now, but Vogel, why are you being so loud? Oh my god. I don't know if you can hear him, but he's being a menace. So we've got the week numbers in. That's looking pretty cute. December, we said this was October. We said that was 43 and 39. I might go and put in the same thing over here. So if you're, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, week. So W is for week. And then W is for week. So the nice part is that once I find my column, I can just use the W's that are on the other side here to help line myself up. Nice and simple. So 48 was for December, and then 48 for November. 48. And for November, it goes to 44. And I think, if you come in at this point, you're like, why is just working from the bottom of the page? It's just because I know that I want my calendar boxes to finish at the bottom. So rather than kind of guessing or having to do the math ahead of time, having to do the math. Okay, I'm not actually that against the math. If I start at the bottom and work my way up, then I end up with perfect spacing. It's quite a lot easier for me, I suppose. Let's see. So we were on December, November, October, which means it's September, which is 39 to start, which is here. 39 and goes to 35, or starts at 35. August is 35 to, where are you? 31. And then July is 30 to 26. And then June is 26 to 22. 26 to 22. Nice. Alrighty. You work in the morning. You really, really, really want to watch this. Well, I mean, okay, my live will be available for rewatching on the replay and all of that. Hello, replay team. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. I like my lives to still be available after the fact because, not everybody can make it and when we have them at our kind of set regular times. So we were doing November's calendar here. So if you're 48, it means you're 26. Okay. 3 across. 1, 2, 3, 30. 1, 2, 3, 30, which means you're 28, which means you're 21, which means you're 14, which means you're 7, which means you're 1. Nice. I like the doing the 7 track because I can, in theory, count in 7s. In theory, big theories there. So October. So for October's one, because 30 and 31 are at the top, just to make sure that I actually remember them, we're going to chuck in 30 and 31. That's what I typically like to do with my calendars in terms of when they finish on a Monday or a Tuesday. Rather than having those numbers underneath the calendar and then having the spacing of my calendars not be the same, or having to account for 6 rows on every single one of my calendars, which it's not a waste of space, because if that's the way that your brain works, it's totally reasonable and fine. But when I do it, I don't need it to be done that way. I would prefer my boxes only take up, or my calendar boxes only take up 5 rows for their numbers. So I just put them up the top corner. And I do the same thing typically when I set up a monthly log, or at least I used to. I would, rather than sharing boxes or anything like that, which I just don't think is the business because things deserve their own space, I would rather put it on top of the calendar rather than share. But nowadays I usually put it underneath. I just kind of fudge my spacing to allow for that. Anywho, so October we were starting here, which means we're 7. Yep, 14. 21, 28, that looks cute. And then we go to September, and that one has dot 30, which means you're 28, 21, 14, 7, 1, that looks cool. And then August is 1, 7, 14, 21, 28, and 28, 29, 30, 31. Dot. Excellent. Now, if you're not really totally thrilled with the idea of having to write your calendars out like this, we do have a free printable. I don't think I've linked it here, but I'll chuck it in the description once I'm finished. A free printable calendar because, it's just a bit easier. I think it has something like 150 different options based on whether you want like black background, white background, different types of font, whether you want a Monday start or a Sunday start, whether you want the calendars kind of stacked like this with the 30 and 31 at the top, or if you want it underneath. It's got a lot of different options. So if you would rather print them off, we do have a printable for that. This guy was July 30th is here. It's weird that the two 30s are right next to each other. Makes me uncomfy. 28, 21, 14, 7, 1. And then where is Monday? Monday would be here, right? And then that would be no, not the 1st, the 31st. I know there's a pencil on the end of this, but I don't like to use it because it looks ugly. I know it's there for like convenience sake, but I think it's ugly, so I don't want to use it. And by ugly, I mean ugly as you use it, not ugly to start with. I want to keep it looking kind of pristine-ish. Let's see, 2 dots there, which means you start 30 June. Do you guys use the rhyme to remember how many days they all have, or do you guys use the knuckles thing? Because I'm more into like doing the knuckles, because the whole like 30 days hath September, I just start making up. I'm gonna say lyrics. It's not what I mean because it's more like a poem. I just start making up lyrics. Poink, poink, poink. That looks cute. So I know it looks a little bit strange as it stands at the moment, but I personally don't need to write out every single number. Like, I can probably count. Big ups on the probably. The main thing I actually end up using this for is the week numbers, because I use the week numbers in my yearly collections journal. If I have my yearly collections journal on hand, let's find him. Squeeze me. Let me show you what I mean. So, for my yearly collections journal, on my habit builder, wherever he be, this one, I have the week numbers on this, and I use these week numbers from my calendar to say whether I've done these things in that week. So helpful to have it on my little year at a glance. So that looks pretty cute. In terms of the headers for each of those, I haven't really decided on what type of lettering I want to do, but I think I might use the same lettering style because I kind of like it. It's just kind of simple and classy kind of thing. Oh, you made your 7th purchase at Archer and Olive. Well, I'm glad that you got yourself a discount. We love savings. I really hope you don't go broke though. Don't let that happen. Yeah. I like the knuckles. So it's like everyone that goes up, if you can see, everyone that goes up is like one of the larger numbers, so 31, and anyone that goes down is the lower number, so like 30 or 28 or 29. So it's like January's up, so it's got 31, February's down, so it has 28 or 29, March is up, so it has 31 again, and then down for April, so 30, etc., so on and so forth. The nice part about the knuckles, though, is that it accounts for the July, August, both having the 31. So it's like January, February, March, April, May, June, July is up, and then you start again. August is up, and then September is down, October is up, November is down, December is up. So you don't go to the next year. It's just a 1 year thing. Yeah. But I find that one more helpful rather than trying to remember the rhyme, because I can't remember the rhyme. What is it like? 30 days hath September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31, except for February alone, who has 28 or 29 or something. I don't know the end of it, but yeah, something like that. Not my kind of party. So this is looking pretty good. We do need to have some titles in, and I said I was going to do the same kind of lettering. We haven't put in the one for January. January starts on a Monday next year, though, which is pretty swag. That is what I like. So 1, and that's a Monday, and then that means that the 31st will be, checks calendar to see if we can, there we go. It'll be on a Wednesday. 31 ... which means that you'll be the first week, the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. Gorgeous! Oh, gorgeous! Up, up! Tink!
You're gorgeous.
Oh, you're gorgeous! You're breathtaking! Sad though, I didn't realize my tap wasn't on cold when I put my water in my bottle, so it's like, it's not warm, but it's not cold. So I was just like, So January looks cute. We're going to put the lettering in just so that I can pen straight over the top of it when I come to set up my journal. We're going to start with June. I typically, when I'm writing normally, I actually like to tilt my journal, especially with these, which are kind of italicized anyways. So June is here, and we're going to try and put it in the middle. June. And I know that this is barely legible, but that's because I don't want to have to go over it with the eraser really super aggressively. I know, right? It wasn't Coke. Is this the right channel? What is she doing? June. Juillet. Juillet. So because this isn't my regular style of writing, and I'm getting slowly better at it because this is the second time I've done it in my journal, and then this is going to be the third. And I have done it in Rachel's journal before, so I'm getting slowly better at it. A, U, G, because the G kind of swings around. It needs a bigger swing. More swing, please. That's a big U, but it's fine. S, and then T is like a... Oh, K. That was close enough. Creak, creak. And like when the journal makes like the sticky noise. I don't know if you can hear it. Yeah, this is actually, I've been kidnapped, guys, and I need you to save me. Like, there we go. August, September. So the September has like a big top S, which is interesting. I feel like I need a S. Yeah, that looks like a E, and then P. And the T is always the one that kind of catches me out, because usually when I do a T, I'll see if I can find a piece of paper. This can be my scrap paper for today. So normally, when I do a T, like if I was to write September, so S, E, P, I would do a T like that, so that it can join to the next letter, and so on and so forth. But for this lettering style that we're doing, it does S, E, P, and then when they get to the T, they just do a connecting to like a line, and then they start it again. And that's the part that catches me out, because this is more akin to what I would usually do, and this is the lettering style that we're actually doing. Do I still have my focus on? No, I'm good. We're fine. Yeah. Yeah, I think I probably could go downstairs and grab some ice, but you know, I've made my bed now. Oh. E-M. The M is like a little bit wavy, but that's cute. And then a B, E. The R is kind of... Now we're getting into the months that all have R's at the end, right? October, November, December. I do like the letter B, though. I think that cursive B is probably one of my favorite letters. September is your spirit animal. Oh, Lord. Can you tell that I am not super awake? October. I don't think I have a spirit month. I mean, my inclination would be to say October, because, you know, birth month and all. But, like, what's the month that I really resonate the most with? Yeah, it's probably October, but it's like October for us here in New Zealand is not like cold and autumny or fall-esque. So I always get kind of jealous of the countries that have, like, you know, the pretty fall trees and the colors, and they got, like, you know, all of their warm woolly bits on still, because it's still the vibe of the season. Whereas here it's just like, hey, fever, like, wah. It's not as aesthetic. It's not my aesthetic, at least. Not that I really consider myself to have an aesthetic. But yes, December. and then January, back to the J. I like this style of J too. It feels very classy. Usually when I do a J, it's a little bit more kind of curly. There we go. January. You don't have to choose. You can have us both live. It's just that we'll talk over the top of each other, which can be slightly not so fun to listen to. Alrighty, so we've got this guy looking cute. I'm thinking that I might want to put a header in, but I'm kind of concerned about, like, where do I place the header? Because if we just for a second to just put that back up a little bit so that we can kind of see what I'm doing here. So if we go back to our thumbnails, so you can see that for the year at a glance, we've got the calendar boxes, and then we've got this decorative panel down the side. And I'm not sure if I want to put the the header. I don't know if I want to put the header like in the middle of the space that's actually used, or the middle of the page, or left aligned. Like if I put it, and I know you can't see this again, and I apologize, but if I put it in the middle, then it's going to have to go like here, which at the moment looks a little bit strange, but I think once I put my decoration in, it might make more sense. Or I could just put it to the side, because I just thought I'd use numbers. So I could, instead of using numbers, actually write out like 2023 or 2023. I think a 2023 is probably my preference. But I don't know what the capital T looks like. And I know that sounds really dumb, but it's more like, in this lettering style specifically, what does it look like? But then it'd be like, okay, so if we do to when with the T and the Y, and then to when T, they're all T's, and that looks kind of odd. 2023. So it's, we could do it that way, but it doesn't come the whole way over either. So we're still going to have this kind of blank space here, which, I mean, I could fill with decoration, but I really wanted the decoration just to be down the side panel. So, to answer the question of, do we have Halloween in New Zealand? We have Halloween, like it happens, but it's not widely kind of celebrated. Like, we don't really get big on the whole like trick-or-treating thing and all of that kind of stuff. Some people do it, like some people organize it in their communities and whatever. Like certain suburbs might say, if they have like a community Facebook group, they might organize for the kids to go trick-or-treating, but it's not something that's like widely done, I suppose. Yeah. Alrighty. So I think it's time for a poll. So we're gonna have to do a poll here. No, I know you guys don't like polls. I know you're like, wow, polls suck. Why would you poll us, Jess? I hate this. So we're gonna have 4 options for our poll, and this is the title poll. So do we want it left aligned with numbers? Do we want it left aligned with text? Not text. Use your English. Do we want it center aligned with numbers, or do we want to have it center aligned with text? So those are the options. Sorry if you're here on the replay, but you can always let me know in the comments. I might get to read it before I actually properly set this one up, because I'm like, I kind of like the text. Like, I think it's kind of nice to have the numbers written out, but I also like don't know if I like that little gap of space. Kind of thing. So, because again, like, and I know it sounds really silly, I'm like, I don't know what the number 2 looks like in this lettering style. Like, I'm not too sure what the letter 2 would look like, because we could do something just like, is it like a bounce up? 23 kind of a thing. I'm really not good with that kind of a 3. I usually just do this kind of a 3. I mean, like, in terms of getting it center, getting numbers central is much easier than getting text central, but I'm conflicted. I'll let you guys have a think about it. You let me know in the poll. Because, I mean, at the moment, again, this is why we do it in pencil first. We can change our mind with pencil. Once you commit to pen, like, you can change your mind. It's just a little bit more tricky. So, yeah, we're effectively using this lettering style. That's why this number doesn't look like it really matches, in my opinion. Like, all of the rest of the lettering kind of, except you're a little bit odd, looks fairly uniform kind of thing, but yes. Anywho, so when it comes to the decorative panel up the side, I've talked about it already, but the decoration that I'm going to be using for my starter journal setup, peel sticker, is this washi tape from the washi tape shop, right? So it's got like roses and little berries and dark blue flowers and kind of pale pink flowers and stuff, and I'm just going to cut out a whole bunch of these and stick them down. When it comes to this edge panel here, I'm going to take probably the larger pieces and cut them up into sections. I can kind of show you what I mean if I get out another journal. Ugh. And stick this down before it unravels itself. Devastation, not actual devastation, just mild annoyance. Okay, so this is my notes book where I, funnily enough, I take notes. And you can see that I've used those washi tape. They're not technically stickers, it is just a washi tape, but I keep calling them washi stickers because I cut them out to use individual pieces. So I'm going to do something like this down the side of the page, where we have, like, if this is the edge of the page and we just have the kind of decoration poking out the side, and I want to do that the entire way down, which might be a little bit tricky because they are bigger, but I think I can do it. I think it'll be cute if I can execute it well. We just don't have a lot of space to play with, so I have cut out a couple, like I did them a little while ago. So if we grab out my tiny little bag of washi stickers. So I could do it where it's like just the individual little flowers, and I kind of stick them down the side and have kind of like a little waterfall-esque kind of thing going on with the ones that are a little bit smaller. Which could be cute, but what I more so wanted was kind of like a thicker panel of decoration. I just need to find the right ones for it, which might not necessarily be in this set. I might need to cut out some more, and by I might, I mean I know I have to cut out some more, but this was kind of the thing that I was going for. So kind of like that. And it could be that I just stick some decoration that goes a little further over if I want to have it left aligned. Hopefully you kind of get what I mean by this, though. So something kind of like that, but a little bit more filled in, I suppose. How much does this style cost approximately? That is a great question. Let's go have a look. Why not? We like to go on adventures. The washi tape shop. It is sad that that's the first thing that comes up when I press T into my browser. Let's go have a look. Let's go have a look. Do. Alrighty, the washi tape shop. Like, gorgeous. Okay, where would we find it? New releases? Maybe? I think it's new-ish. Let's see. So scroll. Alrighty, it's in this kind of realm here. So it says from 10.95, $10.95 US. But remember, you can use code JASHI10 and get 10% off. We love savings. And then we've got a whole bunch of different like color designs as well, which is like, oh, beautiful. Mwah, love it. So I'm using the Dusty Rose one, Frosty Rose. This is the one that I'm using. So we've got the Frosty Rose, and you can get it in either the washi, which is, you know, the paper kind of based, or I've got the PET, which means when I stick it down, it kind of blends a little bit better. So yay. They, of course, have the complete set, but we don't want both. We just want one of them. So mine's the PET tape, which is the $10.95, and the washi tape itself is also $10.95. Not description, bio. Yes, I do have it. Do I have it linked in my description already? I might be a wizard, guys. I might be a wizard. All right. So let me know if you're a wizard in the comments. So we've got a little wreath, which is cute. We've got another little kind of wreathy kind of thing here. We've got other little bits and pieces. So it comes just on one big roll, and you do have to cut them out individually, or I guess you could just use them as is. Ooh, okay. This is what I'm talking about, right? Like, we want this kind of thing down the side. So I'll just go through the tape roll and find every single piece that looks like this and cut it out and stick those down the side. success. Great success. We love the code. We love savings. You're most welcome. Alrighty, so I personally like the PET ones. And we are going to possibly try and find all the ones that look like this on the roll and cut them out and put them down our side panel here. That would be pretty cute. So I know that I do have a later design coming up, or a later page to sketch out where I want to do a similar thing, but I think that I might be able to design that page so I don't have to use these ones specifically. I might be able to have like a little bit more in terms of the decorative panel. But we'll put these guys to the side so we can play around with them a bit later. This is our year at a glance. Looking cute. Now we need to move on to the future log. Now I know some people don't really like to put a year at a glance because they're like, why would I bother having one? I'm going to have a future log and that's going to have the calendars. I don't usually, well, like sometimes I do, but I don't usually put many calendars on my future log, which is why having a year at a glance kind of makes sense. So if we get rid of the label, and of course, 40 minutes in, tink. Hydration. Yay for us. I do wish you were colder, my friend, but alas, here we are. So if we go and have a look at our little thumbnail to see what it is we wanted to do with this one, because my memory is bad, I think that I wanted to do, So you can kind of see, like, I wanted to have the headers for the months, and I wanted to have one of the longer pieces of that tape as kind of decoration down the side. So something kind of like this, yeah? So we'll have the header written out, we'll have some lines, and then we'll have a little sticker down the side here as kind of the decorative piece, yeah? So I'm going to need to figure out which longer pieces I have, because I don't want to use, like, the same longer piece over and over again. I don't mind using it like across like that, but I would like some variation. And we're going to need to put in our headers and measure out our spaces. Now, I don't feel the need to have a header that says future log because it's pretty self-explanatory what the page is going to be. So I'm going to size it pretty much the same as the one that I have in this journal, where I just go all the way to the top, like have the 1 centimeter header, then the box, then I guess there's probably kind of a space, and then 1 centimeter header, so on and so forth. The size of journal that we are using today is a traveler's notebook size from Archer and Olive. I have this guy who is orange because all of my previous journals have been blue, and I found that the only travelers that I had in my cupboard was blue, so I had to go buy a new one because I refused to use blue again. Quick question. Never used PET tape. Does it have a backing that you have to peel off? Yes, it does have a backing you have to peel off. And I know that some people struggle with the backing, getting the backing off, which, is fair because it's pretty well on there. But I find that if I just kind of rub my finger on the side of it, I can eventually get it off. It is a little bit tricky, but there you go. Sticker. And the nice part is that the designs on the PET, I'm not sure about the washi tape one, but the designs on the PET are opaque enough that you can usually stick them over the top of stuff that's already on the page, and it shows up fairly well. Like, it doesn't kind of, what's the word? It's not transparent, yeah? Can I get this back on here? Absolutely not, because I don't know what shape it was. So we'll just put that upside down over there, and hopefully I can use that sticker in a timely fashion so that it doesn't get fluff stuck to it. So let's have a look at the spacing. I'm just going to use my ruler to measure this out because it's just going to be a lot easier if I can find my ruler. Oh no, where did I put it? It's okay, we've got it. Crisis averted. So we've got 19 centimeters down the page, and before we get worried, yes, there is also 19 centimeters on this one. So the spacing is going to work just fine. So for the header, we have 0 to 1, we have 6.5 to 7.5, and we have 13 to 14. Can we remember those numbers? Probably not now. Okay, 0 to 1, 6.5 to 7.5, and 13 to 14. There we go. Header spaces done. And we'll do the same on this side. So we have 0 to 1, 6.5 to 7.5, and 13 to 14. Nice. I gotta get up early to drive your boyfriend to his new job. Boyfriend, best friend. I don't know which one it is. Good luck to your BF. So we've got the spacing in, and we'll turn the lighting down again so you guys can see what we're dealing with here. There we go. You can hopefully see it a little bit better now. I know it's a little bit tricky because of the reasons. Tricky because of the reasons. All right, you guys, in terms of, I forgot that we had a poll going. Center and numbers seems to be winning, but it was pretty even. Interesting. Curiouser and curiouser. So we've got our header spaces. When it comes to actually, get out, I'm not using you. When it comes to which months I'm putting on this calendar, I typically, when I do a future log, unless it's the start of the year, like at the start of the year, I like to start with January. I don't know why, it just like feels right. But when I'm starting a journal in the middle of the year, I actually don't like to put the first month of the journal on the future log, because as soon as I start using this journal, it's gonna be that month. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to just have to like duplicate the information. If we look at a more specific example here, so we'll bring our paper back. Okay, so my journal that I'm using here, this one is going to be from, what was it, June to June, July, August, probably. I think I'm only going to be fitting 3 months in here, probably. So because I'm not going to move into this journal until it's June, there doesn't feel like a lot of point actually having June on the future log, because I'm just going to write all of that stuff in the June monthly. So rather than that, I'm going to start it with July, because when I move into this journal, I won't have my July pages set up. So I need a space to capture the events that are going to happen in July. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. So we're going to start with July on the future log. Because we're only fitting 6 spaces in here, I don't want to feel like I don't have a space to record future events. Yeah, so we're going to do July, August, September, October, November, etc., rather than December. Yeah, which I know is probably a little strange too. It's like, oh, but you had 6 months and you could fit the last half of the year and it would have been perfect. Like, yeah, but what if I have an event coming up in February next year that I need to record? Especially when like booking flights to see family and stuff like that. I like to be able to write out either when they're coming to see me or when I'm going to see them. We usually do those quite a few months in advance to get the best deals. So I'm going to need an etc. space here. Alrighty, has a question. I love questions. Is this going to be your main journal now? Yes. When we get to June, in June, this will be my main journal, or my everyday journal, as I like to call it. All right. Do you find you like the smaller size journals versus the A5 or B6? B6 is a smaller size, but I assume you mean the B5 because that one's like huge comparatively. Yes. The traveler size seems like it doesn't have much space for the extra decoration like others. I would agree. It does feel like there's not a lot of space for decoration. Yeah. But I kind of, okay. When it came to the B6, which is the smaller sized one that I used in the kind of like last 3 to 4 months of last year, I felt restricted in terms of what I could write down, but it felt very empowering to have less space in terms of decoration because there was less space to fill, which is, it feels kind of counterintuitive almost, because I know that a lot of people like to do a B5, which is like the bigger journal. They like to have a B5 because they have so much room for space. Like they don't have to compromise in terms of like, do I have enough space for, the things that I want to write down and the decoration that I want to do, which I was kind of expecting was going to be my opinion going into it, but it turned out not to be the case. When I got to the B5, the bigger journal, the amount of space felt like overwhelming almost. Like there was just too much space and I didn't want to fill it with decoration because I didn't want to have to do decoration that was that big. So anytime I did decoration in there, it was usually like a big panel of like a washi wall or something like that was kind of what I leant more towards, or like bigger decorative pieces that were still fairly simple, so they didn't need like a lot of detail. Yeah. Whereas when I got to the B6, the smaller journal, it felt like, oh my gosh, I can actually do decorative things because it's not as overwhelming. Like it doesn't feel like I have to fill up as much space. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. Like I'm going to show you an example because why not? We love examples. Come journals, we're going on an adventure. So one of my favorite setups in my baby journal, tiny journal, so small. We're going to turn the light back up because now we're talking journals. Get out of here, travelers. We'll come back to you in a second. I'm sorry. Turning that light all the way up. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. We can see things again. So this guy here, my little baby journal with the firefly. So in the first month of this one, we did a fireflies theme. Oh my gosh. It's like for sure one of my favorite themes that I've ever done. But I would not have been able to do this in this guy, the B5, because it would have just been way too overwhelming. Like, I know that my thumb is not a good metric of like size, but like this size is the size of my thumb now, right? like doing this felt a lot more approachable, manageable in a smaller size. Having said that, something I didn't like so much about the smaller size is not having enough space to write stuff down. So when it came to my weeklies, because I had just done, if we go and see like the last month that I had in this guy, last month that I had in this journal, and you can see there is some blank space, but I had been doing 2 columns of tasks and just like, oh, look at how much writing there is. This is so gorgeous. And I know you're just like, Jess, it's literally just a list of tasks that you have to do. Why are you getting so hyped about this? But I love it. I loved just being able to just write and having super mega amounts of space to just write stuff. See, joined Cindy's first live stream back. So this is what I had just come from. I just come from getting to fill all of this space with stuff that I needed to get done. So then jumping into this journal, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can totally fit 2 columns of tasks in here. This felt like way too cramped with regards to that. So in the next week, I just decided to go back to having them written down in 1 column, which was like, don't get the same like feeling of, the space has been really, really well filled with tasks. So in terms of decoration, I liked this size better. I thought that this was just a lot nicer to use in terms of trying to be kind of creative and decorative because it was less overwhelming. Whereas this guy here was so much more better. I know the better was enough, but we're going to go with more better. So much more better for just task dumping. See, like I said, like I've got this entire page and this is how much I did of decoration. Then I've just got like a washi banner behind it because I'm like, there we go, that's decorative, right? The most decorative one that I probably had in this guy was June, which I loved. Don't get me wrong, absolutely loved it, but it is technically simple. I know it doesn't look simple, but it is just a whole bunch of leaves and water drops. And all of these guys were done with like a circle stencil for the body and all of that. It's just like the same elements repeated over and over and over again, so you get quite good at doing it. Yeah. And then just one big one, which I don't like this cover page all that much. I love all of the headers, and I love all of the side panel decorations when it's smaller and cuter and like, I don't know, easier to hide mistakes almost. I feel like when you get this big, if you stuff something up, looking at you, kid, it's a little bit more noticeable. But anywho, I feel like that was a tangent, and Monica wasn't here to stop us. Ha ha ha. Monica's usually the one that calls me out on it. Or sometimes Britta. Britta calls me out on it too. Deb's an enabler though. So is Carolyn. So, coming back to it. Coming back to the one that we're actually doing today, just on our little side quest. So, future logging. We're putting in our headers. General, just to answer your question though, I did not find that the smaller size was bad for decoration. I actually preferred it. It's a very long-winded answer. Oh dear, that's too dark. Oh my gosh. No, that's too light. Okay, we're doing 35%. If I ask later, it's 35%. So July, August, September, October, November, etc. I haven't done an E before, so we're just going to do ECT dot, and that looks pretty cute. And this will be July. And this will be August. And September. And then we need to go pick out some decorative bits. so that we have the right ones in the right place when I come to stick it down. So July, August, September, October. So one of the things that I like to do when I'm using either like stickers or not so much washi tape, mainly stickers or like decorative papers in particular. There we go. I actually have a different N for this, so I'm going to go and change the N on the front page because I want them to be the same. When I'm doing stickers and paper kind of sticking in and stuff like that, or like ephemera bits, I like to lay it down on the page before I stick it down so I can kind of see the general placement that I want. And then I like to be able to take a picture of that so I effectively have a reference to work with. Yeah? Because otherwise I sometimes don't stick it down in the right place. Etc. etc. is etc. Alrighty. Should I write etc. out in full then? Because then at least it kind of looks a little bit bigger. Because otherwise, like July is only 4 letters, but it's like acceptable because it's the actual name. Set era. There we go. That looks cute. Etc. And I know it's barely visible, but that's kind of the point, remember? Because I want to be able to, like when I erase this, not see it. I don't want to see it when I erase it. I do also want to put in the lines of color. So we're going to mark in where those are going to go. So we've decided that this one is a no, but that's a yes, a yes, a yes, a yes, a yes. I'm just going to put little ticks to the side so I know where I'm putting those lines of color, rather than actually kind of like coloring them in. Because if I have the ticks to the side of where the color is going to go, it's going to be a little bit easier to put the lines of color in for first falls, but also put the lines of color in and not go over the top of the pencil. Because if I go over the top of the pencil, it's going to make the pencil way harder to erase, which is not really the business. And I've gotten caught out on that many a times before. I don't want that for me. We're doing future us a favor by making it as easy as possible to set this up. That is the aim of the game. Looking cute. Okay, so those are looking pretty swell. And then, like we said, we're going to have some decoration down the side, and that decorative piece is going to be like a sticker like this guy. Yeah. Once we take the backing off and we actually put it into the journal, it's going to blend into the page a lot nicer. I'll put you over here. But for now, it just kind of like sits there being like shiny and reflective and things like that. So ones that I already have cut out are stuff like this. We have a thistle. We have a little twig with berries. So they're all fairly kind of blue in color. I'm going to see if we can find some that are not blue. And it also seems like we have ones that are all kind of the same. We have ones that are all different. I think I'm not going to use the stick because a stick is not super decorative. And it would be totally a me thing to end up sticking this stick with nothing on it on October and then just being like super sad about it. Okay, question. When you guys, okay, I don't know if you actually get calendars anymore, but if you ever see a calendar, do you do the same thing I do and like go and check your birthday month to see what picture you got for your birthday? It's like anytime I interact with a calendar that I'm allowed to like flip through, the first thing I do is go and check October because I'm like, I must see what October's picture is. I need to know. And one year, I think it was my grandparents, they got me a calendar of Lord of the Rings or something. And I'm not really into Lord of the Rings all that much, but they got me one. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. And the picture that was on October was the Urukai, like dripping with mud and blood and blah. And I was just like, great, thanks for that. That's exactly what I wanted for my birthday month. Boo hiss. Also, you're right. Yes. Tink. Mm-mm. Mm. It's nice that you make your own wall calendars. That's probably a very safe way to get around it because, yeah, nobody wants something gross on their birthday month for their picture in their calendar. Okay, so we're going to go and see if we can find something in here that is stick-like, like long and skinny like this, but isn't blue. You mean there might be people out there who don't check their birthday month? I don't know. Some people are just like, yeah, this is fine. I'll just roll with the punches. Okay, so that one it's got a little bit of red on it. So that's kind of cute. This one is blue. That one is blue. That one is blue. That one's blue. I'm having a sneaking suspicion that, do you hear that? Like ASMR? Ugh. I promise it's not actually sticky. It's just like static to itself, but still. It does seem that they are all blue. So I think that we'll just go with blue then. That's nice and easy. At least it kind of makes our decision-making process easier. Whee! Yeah, your birthday's January, so you feel like it's always fine because it's the first one. Yeah, they usually try and put something nice up front so that people are enticed to buy the calendar. So yeah, maybe January is the safest one. I don't know if you guys can see it, and I'm also very, very not sure if it's there on the replay, but there are like these little hearts popping up to the bottom right-hand side of the chat window, and I don't know where they're coming from, but they're very cute. No, hearts. They're like this. They're just like do 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 pop, do 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 pop. Anywho, they're sweet and I like them. Thank you for tiny hearts, whoever's sending tiny hearts. I'm glad you guys see them too. I'm not going crazy. So I think we'll just stick with the ones we've got here, but not the stick and not this one because we've already got one like that. Maybe. This is a potential. We'll see what I want to do with it because this guy seems a little bit thin. And then this one here, I don't know, is it too wide? We're going to cut it out and have a look. Where are my skizzers? Skizzers! So one of my least favorite parts probably about this tape, and really the only critique that I have about it, is that you have to cut them out yourself. Like, I don't know. It can be a therapeutic exercise, I suppose. Good to know that you also call them skizzers. Yeah. Skizzers. I mean, I think that it does lead to some minor problems because sometimes I forget how to spell scissors because I call them skizzers. It's like one of the running jokes in my family is that Fiji is actually called Figgy because one time, many moons ago, we were talking about going to Fiji, possibly. And I made a little flag, like a really budget flag. It was like a Post-it note on a pencil kind of a thing. And I'd written on the Post-it note, Fiji, like, yay, we're going to Fiji. So I had like my little flag and I was like waving it around. But I'd spelt Fiji wrong. I'd spelt it F-I-G-I instead of F-I-J-I. So now the running joke in my family is that it's actually called Figgy. It's not called Fiji. But that just kind of compounds the problem of me not actually knowing how to spell Fiji. There we go. Cut this one out. Kyoink and kyoink. This is very important work. We've got to pay attention, otherwise we'll end up slicing off part of our leaf, and then that's just not the business. It's just not the business team. That looks pretty cute. We can put these pieces to the side for cutting out later because that is not a right now us problem. That is a future us problem. Ha ha ha. And we'll take this tiny stick away because as attractive as you are, stick, I don't want you on my future log. I don't know when I'm going to use the stick, but probably for something else. All right. So we're going to use these ones. And you're like, oh, do I want that one or that one? Let's say you bend that direction. You two bend that way. You're straight up. You're fine. You bend this way. You bend this way. And then we have two that bend that direction and one that's kind of a little bit of both. So yeah, this one we're going to put to the side as well so that we have some balance between like which way things are bending. I kind of like this one for my birth month. I think that the thistle-y kind of piece looks kind of cool. Oi, static yourself to the page properly, my friend. And then I don't want these two together because they're both kind of similar, so we're going to try and separate them out. So we'll put one of them up here and one of them down here, and then we'll have this guy bend that way and this guy bends that way, and then that one could be straight up. That looks pretty cute, right? I mean, I know that things are kind of just moving around and not sitting in the places they should. I guess the question is, do I want to put the grey lines underneath or do I want them to stop? And I'm thinking that I would like them to stop. So I'm probably going to end up sticking these down to the page first. When I actually do the setup, I'll stick them down to the page first, and then I'll put the gray lines on. I'm saying gray lines, they're not necessarily going to be gray. They might be like a pale pink or something. Like maybe that's how I bring the pink into this page, because on other pages we will have these pink rose kind of designs or whatever flowers they're supposed to be. So it would be nice to have some pink on here too. I am going to take a picture of this if I can remember where I put my phone. It's in my pocket. There's my cute little background with my May calendar. And oh no, don't fall. There we go. It's like surgeries. There we go. And we can just take a little picky. Tink. So now I know where those things are going, and I can just put them to the side. So typically when I lay out stickers for different layouts that I'm doing, I tend to take those stickers and put them in a pile on my little shelves that I have in front of me here. Because if I have them all together, then I know that they're going to be used on the same page. And I also tend to order the little piles in terms of like first journal setup page, second journal setup page, third journal setup page, so on and so forth. So I mean, I haven't been misbehaving. They're all liars. Don't let them tell you these things, Monica. I've been very good. Oh no! I did nothing wrong. Tink. But we got the future log set up. It's looking pretty cute. Like, yeah. We only had 2 detours. We're doing fine. Alrighty, what was next? According to mine tiny label here, which you guys can possibly barely see, especially not when it's this blurry, but it does say 101 things in self-care. Okay, we need to look at some little labely bits. Turn up our brightness again so we can actually see stuff. Nope. Alrighty, cute. So, in accordance with thine plan, we are doing the 101 things, and we're just kind of splitting the page into 4 down the bottom, and then the self-care bingo is going here. I haven't decided yet. Thank you, Jessica, standing with me in solidarity. That's right. Like, no, Scouts Honor? Is that the one? I don't know. Or is this Hunger Games? Or is it both? Anyways, so I want to do corner designs on both of these ones, which effectively is just like a cluster of stickers. So there's larger sticker pieces that we have on the roll. So those ones shouldn't be too bad. And then down the bottom, we've got June, July, August, September. And I know that September isn't in this journal, but it was easier to split it into 4 rather than into 3. And it also gives me planning ahead time, which is nice. Erase. We don't need the label anymore. So we're going to have 101 things header up the top here, and we'll probably 101 things. Something like that, roughly. I know that it's hard to see. We will turn the light down again. Down to 35%. There we go. Very hard to see, but that's because I'm doing it super light with my super light pencil. Now, when it comes to the decorative piece, I'm thinking we're going to try and fill up a good chunk of the corner here. That's roughly where the decoration's going to go. And this pencil line is mainly just for me now. It's not going to stay there, and it is certainly not going to be there when I erase stuff. Otherwise, I won't be able to erase it after the fact, because stuff will be stuck over the top of it. And that's not the business. We don't want the pencil line to stay there. For the sake of you guys being able to see it, we'll put it in with this darker one. Something like that. Yeah? There you go. Then down the bottom here, the remaining space is getting split into 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So how much space do we actually have left? So we do it from the bottom of that. That gives us 14.5, which is pretty good, I think, because it gives you like a half space divider. That's 7 and then a half and then 7 at the bottom as well. Nice. And then across, I think it's like 9.5 across or something, which is 4.5 to 5. So those are our kind of little tracks. I like to have a space divider between all of them. So this guy, July, we should probably have marked in where the top of the 7 was, eh? Because otherwise, I don't know where to start, and then that's not helpful. And I'm not actually going to be ruling out boxes for these. It's more just like when I put in my dividing lines, and by dividing lines, I mean like every second line highlighted, like we had on the future log here, I need to know where to start and stop. So these little pencil guides will help me out with that. Creak, creak, creak. And that's why we can be kind of messy with this, because it's not like I'm actually doing any ruling over these. It's just like a kind of guideline for myself. So you and you and you and you and you and you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a blank, and then the header. So we said that you were June, not July. You were July. We have August. August is the one that trips me up the most, because when you write, I'm gonna have I'll do a show and tell for you so that you can kind of see what I mean by this. But when you write the A for August in this lettering style, you do it backwards, and it always trips me up. September. Where's my paper? So normally, and I assume that this is most people do this too, I assume. When I write an A for August, I start here, go over the top, and then do the line. Yeah? When you do this letter for August, you start at the other corner, go across, and flip that way so that you can connect it to these. Yeah? So it's start at the bottom, go over the top, and then go that way. Which is just very counterintuitive to me. So I don't necessarily actually think about it. I go kind of like, and then I'm like, oh crap, I have to do that part. And then blah, blah, blah. Just August. It's gonna look very nice when it's all finished, I reckon. I'm very excited to get it set up, because I'll probably set it up either later today, probably not likely, or tomorrow is probably more likely, so that then the video, the proper plan with me video for it, where we put everything in for realsies, not for fakes, that one is scheduled to come out Thursday my time. So Wednesday for the majority of my audience. So June, July, August, September, that's cute. We're going to do the decoration up top here. Let's have a look at our washi again to kind of see what pieces in particular we might use, because I don't have stay okay, or don't, just do whatever. Just be your authentic self. The biggest piece we have on this one is the part we haven't really cut out yet, and I don't think that's big enough for this corner. I want one that's quite large, so we're thinking like this guy here, and I can kind of stick him up the top here like that. Or maybe something like this one here, which is quite a bit bigger, and we can put that in the top corner, and then we can fill it in with some of our little pieces, like the little flower from before and stuff like that. So that's kind of what we're thinking. I think you can't really see it because it's reflective, but hopefully you can kind of see what I mean by that. Yeah, so some kind of corner decoration, empty space here. I'm not very good with blank space. I always have a tendency to want to fill the blank space, which can sometimes lead to layouts looking a little bit cluttered, which is not so much fun, but it's okay. I know this about myself. So we have self-care bingo here. We'll put the header in the top, and then we're going to have the decorative corner down the bottom. So we'll put in that kind of line that shows the decoration is roughly going here, very roughly. So it's like a top bottom corner kind of deal. And then we can have our self-care header, which we'll just pencil in using the light pencil. Self-care, the line, right? Care. Bingo. So one of the things that I did in my current journal was that anytime I had a header, I'm pretty sure I did like this gold line that came off of it. I think that I'm going to leave those out this time. Well, I'm certainly not going to do it in gold because that wouldn't match the color palette that we're working with. But I think that it'll get a little bit tricky for layouts like this one, where we have the 101 things header that goes over 2 lines. I wouldn't be sure where to put the gold line in. I don't think I had that in any of these pages. Flick, flick, flick. Yeah, I don't think I had that issue here. So that's all good. So I'm just going to leave them as they are and then fill in the rest of the page. So with the self-care bingo, in terms of like a bingo board, I want to have the board at the top here, somewhere, roughly here probably. I don't have a nice divider for 9.5 though. Like 9.5 is a really unfortunate number for making a bingo board because it doesn't have any good divisible units. Like if I just did 9, then I could do like 3, 3, 3, like 3, 6, 9. But I don't think that that's enough. I mean, how many things do I actually want to do? Maybe 3, 6, 9 is fine, and maybe I'm just overthinking it. I can have like a 3 by 3 bingo board. So if we come down to 9, admittedly at this stage I haven't thought of what self-care tasks I want to put in my bingo board, so it gets to be a little bit trickier to figure it out, but it just feels like a 3 by 3 board isn't enough. So I also have to remind myself that this journal is actually only for 3 months, so maybe it's just fine. Maybe I'm overthinking it. And I don't need to rule in every single line here. Usually I wouldn't. I'm just using it as part of my thinking out process. I want to see the boxes in full to see if maybe they're too big, because I'm starting to think that the boxes might feel too big, and then there's like a lot of space to fill with the activity that I want to do. 3. Because normally, if you've seen my self-care bingo boards before that I've done in the past, previously on JashiiCorrin, I usually like to do kind of like a little bit kind of like a sketch notey kind of thing. So it's usually got a little bit of like decorative stuff in there. So maybe if it's like, talking about cook a healthy meal or something, I might draw like a little fork and a knife, and then down the side, right, like cook a healthy meal kind of a thing. Yeah. So it just looks a little bit cute. We'll see if I can show you what I mean by that. Yeah. So I like to make it just obviously not this messy, but just a little bit decorative. So maybe the 3 by 3 centimeter by 3 centimeter squares isn't bad for that. Maybe that'll be totally fine. Maybe I'm overthinking it. That does sound like my MO, right? Any plans for Dutch door setups in the Traveler's Notebook? I'm thinking probably not, but if I do any Dutch door layouts, because I was considering doing a Dutch door layout for my future log at one point, and then I decided against it. I'm probably going to go with the type that has a cut at the top of the page, and then the bottom section is free to move. I'll show you what I mean. I'll see if I have one. Squeaks, there's the chair. So this is my Traveler's Notebook that I use for like idea videos, yeah? So this is the R&D version of the Travelers, or rather the Travelers version of the R&D. So, oof, that's a bit bright. Calm down. So do I have any Dutch doors in this one? I don't know if I did put any Dutch doors in this. Flicking through, because it's been a little while since I set these up. We have a Dutch door here, but this one is a tip-in Dutch door rather than a cut Dutch door. And then, oh yeah, see, we've got a Dutch door here. So like a productivity tracker. That totally might feature in one of my layouts. I actually quite like this design. I think it's quite cute. We could do one of those. Or flick through. And then we've got some messy layouts that I was talking through Rachel with. So I'm probably more likely, if I was going to do a Dutch door in here, this is the notebook that made you switch, probably I would do the type of Dutch door where we just do it in the back here. You take the top part of the page off and use the lower part. So if we go, take my scissors. This is just an example, so we can just cut this out. It's fine. Make sure we've only got one page there, because that would be upsetting otherwise. So you take the top part of the door off, and you can either cut it off and like remove it completely, or you can just leave it in the notebook. That's totally fine as well. We're just going to rip that because I'm being a little lazy here. So we kind of have the top part stay either cut off or secured, and then we have this lower part become the Dutch door. So that's probably, if I was going to do a Dutch door in my Travelers, that's how I would do it, because it's just like expanding on the space rather than trying to cut away a page and then having even less horizontal space in particular to work with. That would be kind of lame. So that's probably what I do if I'm going to do any Dutch doors in my Travelers. There you go. Soup. Alrighty. How many pages does that notebook have? This one, I mean, both of them have 144 pages. So that's why I think I'm probably only going to, 144 or 114. Adventure! We need to go check because I can't remember. Is it on the back of the packaging? I don't know if it is. Nope, it's not on the back of the packaging. That's not helpful. Alrighty. Let's go have a see. Go having a snoop. Having a snoop. Archer and Olive. Yeah. Oh. Struggles. Let's go have a see. So we go to shop and we go to notebooks. Now I know that the one that I actually have is sold out. They don't have it, but we've got the TN, so like Traveler's Notebook. And it is the new kind of design, so we'll just go into this one and have a look at it. So this one has, 160 pages, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, 144. I was right. So yes, accept. Go away. 144 pages is what my notebook has. So that's why I think I'm probably only going to fit 3 months in, especially because we have less less horizontal space. And I usually like to do 2 columns of tasks. I'm not going to be able to do that in this notebook. So, 20 minutes in. Sorry. Tink. But Britta, it's on topic. We're talking about Traveler's Notebooks. Yes, it's a distraction. I'm distracted. I apologize. So, coming back to the point that we were talking about here, I wanted to make sure that with my self-care bingo, because oftentimes I treat self-care bingo as more of like a like the reward is doing the task itself, which I think is not necessarily a good way for me to look at it, if that makes sense. So I'm going to try and actually set up rewards. See, Monica hasn't been paying no attention. She's like watching the live stream with no sound. Yeah. I'm glad that it doesn't count for Monica, so she can vouch for me in that respect. But yes, I think that I would like to have some rewards for actually having done things, and I think that I want to have a reward for like vertical reward. Let's say rewards down the bottom here. Put in a little rewards header. I'm going to have the first vertical, first horizontal, first diagonal, and then full board. And then we can just describe them here. Do I need more space? Yes. 1, 2, 3. But if I put in another one, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I'm going to put it all the way down, then I'm not going to have enough space. Maybe. Okay, I'm going to add some more space between these because I'm feeling adventurous. Tick, because I want to put my little every second line colored in here too, because why not? So that's going to be vertical, and that's going to be horizontal, and that's going to be diagonal, and then that's going to be full. Unless I want full to be at the top. I want full to be at the top. And the reason I want full to be at the top is because it's probably going to be the biggest reward, and it's probably going to take up more space to write out what that reward is. So I'm going to need more horizontal space to write that in. Whereas the one down the bottom here, it's got like way less space to write in. So it's like this little kind of corner once we put in the decoration, which I mean, we could always just like, cut the decoration over here kind of a thing and give myself some space. What a novel idea. Actually giving yourself space to write in things you need to write in. Ridiculous. yeah, so it's going to sit in the corner here, and that's why it's going to have like a little less space. But that looks pretty cute. Yay! Now I just need to think about like what kind of stuff I actually want to put on my self-care bingo, because I mean, if I don't have things to put on it, what's the point of setting it up? I mean, there's plenty of things that I set up and I don't know what I'm putting on it, so we'll just now. Boom. The next one we have, whoopah, if we pull over our journal again, I always flip to this page is always the one I flip to, and I think it's just because of the way that it's been set up, quote, quote. It's just a big sticker, but the way that I've attached the sticker has made it so that this page is the one that it naturally opens to, because I think I've pushed the sticker a little bit too much into the spine. I know that's a distraction. You don't have to tell me. So coming back to our thumbnail pictures, because yay, this is our reference image to use. So for AOP and Friday Fun, AOP is a year of planning. If anybody was wondering, it's the year-long planning challenge that we have, which has been going well. I've been enjoying it. So AOP and Friday Fun are both going to be set up as Alastair style kind of pages. Like if you can kind of maybe see our tiny thumbnail here. There we go. Tiny thumbnail. So we've got like every second line is going to be highlighted, and then every second column at the start is going to be highlighted. So we're going to have that. And we just want to make sure that I know what each of these tasks are. So we're going to have to do some brainstorming. Yay, brainstorming. Pew, 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 pew. Which means we're going to need our messy paper back. Come on, messy paper, we're doing things. Now, with my a year of planning, do I have a pen that I actually want to use? Whatever, I'm just using all of the bullet ends of my Tombos. So in terms of a year of planning, we have the posting parts. And we post on Instagram, we post on Facebook, and we post in Discord. We also have the caption writing, which is usually the part that takes me the most time, and that just happens once. And then we have, what else do we have to do? We have to make the picture making, which just happens once. So that's nice. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. Okay. So we need 5 columns. In terms of the Friday Fun is going to have more ? Yeah, more, because it also needs the posting. That one's on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. It also has the caption writing, which just happens once. And it also has the picture making, which just happens once, because we just use the same picture. Say we, it's me. Anyways, but we also have to think of an idea. Yeah, because while a year of planning, that one's already got all of its prompts sorted out for the whole year. Like that one's done. I don't have prompts for all of the Friday Funs, so I need to do this one as well. Yeah. Came across this live watching news about the Alberta wildfires. Oh my gosh, I hope that this is more fun than watching about wildfires. That's tough. Well, I'm always so both kind of impressed and also terrified at the speed with which fire can spread. I think it's just because, if you think about things on a smaller scale, it's familiar to you, like a candle. It takes freaking forever to light the candle. And then if you're trying to light a fire in a fireplace, getting a piece of wood to burn is just you really have to work your way up to it. But in terms of a wildfire, it's just it's a different scale completely. So it just happens so quickly. Anywho, I know that you literally just said that you were here and enjoying hanging out instead of talking about that, so I apologize for bringing that up. So 6 columns for this one, because we need to think of the idea as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, I can count. Huzzah! Ooh, let's see. Maybe in June we can do a server-wide Boudreaux day each week. That would be fun. I don't see why not. We could totally do that. Just make sure that you write a reminder for me, because I'm forgetful. So we need 5 columns for AOP and we need 6 columns for Friday Fun. I guess the question is, how many horizontal sections do I need? Haha, we need a calendar. So each of these is a 1 a week type prompt list. And the journal that we are going into is lasting from June to August. But I'll probably also want September. So let's do some counting. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I almost caught myself out here because this is 26 and that is 26, all right? Danger zone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then we're just going to do 15. Wait, no, it won't be 15 because we'll just do 15. Why not? When I'm doing every second line highlighted, I actually like having odd numbers because then you can have the first line and the last line highlighted, which I think is nicer for kind of, what's the word that I'm looking for? I'm going to write 15 down before I forget. Kind of like gives you like a border to work with effectively. Like, if we go to, where are you, my child? Here we go. So for instance, like my media list here, I like to have this bottom line highlighted so that I actually have kind of like a definitive ending. If you don't have that, then these column highlights just kind of hang off the end and look a little odd. So an example of that would be, I don't know where I put this. There it is. See how these ones, okay, you can't because it's off the screen. See how these ones just kind of hang off the edge? That bothers me. That is irritating to me. So yeah, I like the idea of having the frame. So if I have an odd number of both columns and rows wherever possible, that makes me pleased. Which is why I'm kind of like a little bit like, I'm not displeased. That's not necessarily the right word, but I'm like less pleased than I could be. Where this one is 6 columns, I was like, can I think of anything else that I would have to do to make it 7 instead? Possibly. But I can't think of one right now, and I'm not going to put it in to the plan if I can't think of something to do. If I can think of something to record, then I'll put it in. So in terms of our decorative pieces, it was just where were we? Yep, along the top. And we actually have 2 pages of along the top, which I don't know how I feel about, but maybe one of them could become along the bottom. Yeah, we'll do one of them as along the bottom. We'll do the first one. Yeah, this one will be along the bottom, just so that then we don't have like the same. We don't. I prefer things to be a little different from page to page. It's just a little bit nicer. Okay, so this one's going to be scribbled along the bottom, which means that you are going to be got to do the A the wrong way around. Yeah. Sorry, we all bright again. We need to turn ourselves down a little bit so you can hopefully see what we're working with, even if it's still really super faint. Year of, I think the F is supposed to be different, but it's fine. I'll figure it out later. Planning. A year of planning, and then I'm going to need probably a gap because that would just look nicer, which means that this will be our top row. And we said that it was going to be 15. Yeah, 15. So a header row, and then 15. Half of 15 is 7.5. So it's going to come down to at least here. That is not a lot of space. Maybe I will do some more planning out. Maybe I'll just put in as many as I feel like. I've been watching Firefly. We just finished. I was going to say we just finished the first season, but it's even wrong. It's like we just finished the only season. And I've been really enjoying how they don't swear in it, or at least they don't use swear words that I'm familiar with. So Vogel is in the background. He's talking on a call. If he is irritating, you guys let me know, and I will I'll go and close the door so that then he is maybe less hearable. Yeah, he's talking to a work colleague about je ne sais pas. So I think that if I can find a color for it, because I haven't done my color paletting yet, and I haven't picked out my supplies outside of, the stickers that we're using. If I can find a dot marker for it, I'll actually just put dots along the top here for our different tasks. We said that there were 5 tasks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the dots, and then this will be the post. And then we can write out what the post names are down the side here. I'm going to give myself more space to do this just because because I can. Also in part because I don't see the problem with getting ahead on these. Like if I have the time to map them out and plan them out, even if they don't necessarily get done, then it gives me kind of some playing area with that, which is cool. It just means that this bottom section here is going to be like full decoration. We can probably see what kind of larger sticker pieces I have to actually see how much space we could fill up with decorative stuff. Like the decoration could come out to about there-ish, roughly here, so that I know that I can go down that far in terms of my lines. I actually probably should have a space for the date as well, so that I know when these things are getting posted. That's a smart idea. So should I put the date first or after the checkboxes? I think I'm going to put the date after the checkboxes because ticking things off is the most important part. Shrug? Question mark? Now I'm conflicted. No, I'm putting the date first. And the date should only need like 2 columns because it's a number and an initial. Because AOP is posted on a Monday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then post title. And then we got the same idea going over here. So date. And we said that there were 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe we can think of another one. And that'll be post title. Gorgeous. Squid, squid, squid. I know, right? I love Nathan Fillion too. It was just like a really good feeling, just like rewatching Firefly. It was just like, oh, this just feels like a really happy place. It was just like a really good story, but it's also really sad because you can see where like plot points and stuff were going to be picked up in future seasons and then obviously it didn't happen. So like, wow. Friday fun. Cute. Yay! Having things penciled in. I know that we're not done, like, by a long shot, but, like, having things getting penciled in is just, like, a happy place. Also, Tink, make sure that you're hydrating. Chef's kiss. So, that looks cute. The year of planning is sussed. The Friday fun is sussed. We have the space down the bottom for our decoration. We're going to cut out, like, the bigger pieces of the washi tape sticker-esque things to kind of fill that. So, like, bigger than this. Bigger than that. Nice, big, bulky. Love that for us. And then, just thinking, do I want to write the dates in? Probably not. Maybe. Okay, fine. Fine. Only because future me is going to be so much happier that I did it. This is the point, right? We're doing this to help future us. We want future us to have a much more enjoyable time setting up their journal. So we're going to do future us a favor. In terms of June, we've got... I can do the 29th. Why not? We'll just, 29th of May. And then we have 4 Junes. But then we also have 4 Julys, right? 5, 12, 19, 26. And then, but wait, there's more. 3, 10, 17, 24, 31 for July. And then we have, oh, nice, 7, 14, 21, and 28 for August. And then we have September, at least 4 of those. 4, 11, 18. If you're trying to watch this and you're trying to count right now and I'm saying all of these random numbers, I apologize because that's really difficult to deal with. 2, 9, 16. 2, 9, 16. 23, 30, October, and November, 6, 13, 20, 27. I'm just going to keep writing them down because, stuff it. November, 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 November. 'Cause maybe I might decide to do quite a small panel of decoration. And 4, 11, 18, 25, December, 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 December. I might decide just to do a really small panel of decoration if I have, like, I don't know, a burst of, like, I'm going to be productive and get all of them done. I will make that decision based on what kind of decorative stuff I could find for this bottom section before I get into doing that. Like, before I actually set it up. Use your words. Come on. So in that case, we're going to need to do the same for the Friday fun as well, because having this penciled in ahead of time is just going to save me, future me, doing it later. The only issue that I have is that I've now gone and penciled in where I'm going to be putting my highlight line, so I can either highlight over the top of it and then try and erase it and then try and pen it in, which is usually not so successful. Like, when you pencil something in and then put pen over the top, erasing it is quite difficult, especially when it's like, a Tombow strip of color. It's tricky. We don't want that for us. So I might end up erasing it before I put it in. We will see. I will figure it out. Future me, you will have at least that to figure out. So for the Friday fun, funnily enough, this happens on Fridays. Or at least it happens on Fridays where I am. And I would like it to finish on the last Friday of the year. So I'm going to write 29 here. Yeah, 29. 22, 15, 18. What the heck is that? It is supposed to be 8. 15, 18. Again, this is why we pencil things in. Yay for pencils. Yay for pencil team. D, 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 D. N, 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 N. 24, 17. 10, and then it's number 3. Moving to October, we've got 27, then 20, then 13, then 6, October, and then September. Ooh, 5 for September, 5 for September. 1, 8, 15, 22. Again, if you're counting and you're like, just shut up, I'm trying to count. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I mean, like, okay, it's also the kind of thing that, like, I know I could just look this up when I go to set it up. Like, that would be totally fine too. It's a valid strategy. I just think that this is going to be a little bit more helpful for when it comes to, like, actually setting it up and just going a little bit faster for myself. Because right now I can look them up and just be kind of messy, and it doesn't really matter because this is all just pencil. It's going to get erased anyways. But when I'm trying to do it in my journal, I'm, like, trying to be neat, when I'm doing it properly. When I go to pen it in, I'm going to be trying to be neat. So it's like adding on the time taken to try and be neat with the time taken to look up all the numbers. It's like, ain't nobody got time for that. 30, 23, 16, 9, 2. Yay, and it finishes on the same week as the other one, which kind of makes sense because that's exactly the way we planned it. So if I decide to go with the smaller panel of decoration, it means that I can fit the entire year into these, and I'm thinking that may be what I might try and do, just so that then it's like I have space to plan ahead, which I'm never sad about. Like, space to plan ahead makes sense for me. That looks pretty cute. And then after the Friday fun, we have my media consumed page. And this is where we're putting that decorative panel at the top. So like we said before, one of the things that I really like to do is make sure that when I'm doing those highlight lines, I always finish on an actual highlight rather than not a highlight. So we're going to do ticks every second line up the page because I know that my decorative panel is going to be at the top here. So tick, 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 tick. Tick, and the tick is just like to signify, hey, put a line of color here. And the reason we're doing it to the side is so that I don't have to like erase it before I put things on. tick, 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 tick. And I mean, technically speaking, do you need to put these ticks in? No, you do not have to do that. Like, you know, if you're coming in with your colored Tombow and whatever, and you're just doing your highlighted lines, like, you'll probably be able to figure out where you need to put your highlight. The reason that I'm doing the ticks up the page is so I can see where I'm going to end it off and where I want to put in like my header and then my decorative panel and stuff like that. Now, for my media list in my current journal, I have been doing it in an Alastair method so that I could record what type of media things were. So we've got like, you know, a column to check off, or rather columns to check off what type of media we have. So it's like, is it a movie, a TV show? Is it a book or a podcast or like whatever? I'm not going to do that in this one just because if you look at this, like this title was 8 centimeters long. I only have 9.5 in this new notebook. So I don't have enough space to put in all of those columns to say what type of media it is. I don't want to have to redraw all of these to specify what it is every single time. So because like one of the solutions I was thinking is like if we took the page and we had, you know, every second line highlighted or whatever, we could just have a column that goes down the side, like the first column here or whatever. And in that first column, we could draw out to say like, oh yeah, hey, it's a movie or it's a TV show. But I'm like, I don't want to have to go in and draw a little movie icon or a little TV box or a little book every single time. Also, because all of those symbols are a little bit more detailed and they all kind of take up the same amount of space or whatever, there's not a lot of, I guess, like usefulness in that. Like it could, yeah, that's what I'm getting to. You're getting ahead of us. It's a great idea. You're getting ahead of us. So I could have done this, but one, it takes too much time, and that's just like sad face. And two, you can't really tell the difference between them at a glance. Like that's not helpful either. So like we've got Echo saying, like maybe we could just do a letter. So then it's like an M for movie, a T for TV show. We could say a B for book, a P for podcast, an S for song, a G for game. Like maybe that could be the kind of thing we go for. This takes a lot less time to do, and I think that at a glance it's going to be a little bit easier to see which one is which. You don't have to be sorry. I'm just joshing. Yeah, I'm kidding with you. So yeah, I'm thinking like we could do something like that, but then I also don't know if I'm going to get a lot of like value out of it, I guess. Like, is it super necessary to put them in either? Like, do I need to know that like if I write Brooklyn Nine-Nine season 8, do I need to have something there that tells me that it's a TV show? If that kind of makes sense. Yeah? So I'm thinking that I might actually just leave it and just not have them there. But I would like something at the front. I think I'll just have a space to put like the little bullet point to say that it's like a dot list. Yeah? Fine, I'm not sorry. All goods with me. So I think that I still want to have... Do I want to have a highlighted column? I don't think that there's no need to have a highlighted column, right? There's no need to have it there. So I won't put a highlighted column in, but I will put like bullet points down the side, maybe as I build the list, not to start with, so that then it's like, hey, this is an entry to your list. Because that's typically what I do. I typically like to put a little bullet point there for my list entries. At least I think I do. Let's go check. Whee! So this one, yeah, anytime I do a list, I usually do put a little circle down to say like, hey, this is a list entry. This is an item that we're doing. So I'm going to be using that. What does the front of the journal look like? Well, bam! It's got the phonograph. I assume this is what you meant by the front. Like the very front cover. Yeah, it's a little phonograph kind of design, which is pretty cute. I mainly picked it because it was on sale and not blue. Ray! If you're wondering, that's Axis. Group them by what they are. I was thinking like we could group them by what they are, and I have done that previously, but I find that I'm like super not good at predicting how many I will need in each different category. One of the ways that I've tried to get around that previously, because I don't necessarily know how many I'm going to do, is that when I set up my spread for my media consumed, I do something like books label at the top and then movies label at the bottom. That was interesting. And then I just build my list in either direction so that there didn't feel like there was any kind of wasted space. Oh God, just like hit my mouse. Very aggressive. Calm down, Jess. What are you doing? And then on the other side, I have like, TV, and I'll build my list down. And then I might have like, I don't know, music or whatever, and then build my list up. So that's one way that I've done it before, so that I kind of don't have to try and pre-predict how many sections that I need for each of them, or like how much space that I need for each of them, because otherwise it'll be like, oh yeah, I gave myself, this much space for movies or whatnot, and then I end up watching like this many more movies. So it's like, okay, that didn't work. That's kind of what I have tried to do that previously, but it didn't necessarily work out super well for me. Maybe it's just because I haven't given enough thought to realistic expectations of myself in terms of how much space I need for each of them. Yeah. Because I love show and tell time because I'm distracted. So why not? So one of the things that I like to do each year is that I like to do a 23/23s and 2023 list. Say that 23 times fast, but you can see that some of them are certainly kind of, racing ahead in terms of how much I've gotten done, and some of them not so much. So like we're like, not even a third of the way through the year completely, and I've done my movie list. Like that's done. And I've already watched a couple more movies as well. Like for TV shows, I've gotten to like 10, like that kind of thing. Whereas I always thought of myself as the kind of person who watched more TV shows than they did movies, but obviously that is not right anymore. I also took books off of here, and I'm kind of bummed about it because I've started reading books more. So like I could have had that in here. You can see like podcasts. I took this as podcast episodes because at the start of the year, I didn't think that I watched that many podcasts or like listened to that many podcasts. Turns out I listened to a heap of podcast episodes from one creator. I have one person that I've really listened to like every single one of their podcasts, and they've got a backlog of like 200. So I've just been listening to heaps and heaps of them. So that one's completely filled up. Yeah, I'm just not very good at predicting stuff, obviously. Anywho, distraction over. Back to business. Me channel. So I think that I'm just going to make it super simple for myself, because this is the thing, like we don't want to design layouts, or I mean, you can speak for yourself. I don't want to design layouts that are hard for future me to fill in, because I won't fill them in, because future me is a persnickety biscuit and she's just not going to deal with it. It's not the business. So we want to make it so that it is nice and user friendly for her. She doesn't need to figure out like where to place things. She doesn't need to try and like, I'm going to say write backwards, but it's not really what I mean. We want it to be nice and easy. So we're just going to have it as a dot list. It doesn't really, I don't need to specify whether it's a book or a TV show, but if it does need to be specified, like for instance, let's just say that I watched a movie that has a book. Yeah, I can't even think of one because I'm that illiterate or something. That's not the right word. See, so illiterate. Anyways, so if I watched a movie that has a book and I didn't think I was going to remember whether it was reading the thing or watching the thing, I can just put in brackets at the end like book, movie, and be done with it that way. Because it's only really necessary for the ones that like you'd be easily confused about. Yeah? That kind of makes sense? I don't know, doesn't like run in my mouth. I'm going to put, actually, this is supposed to be a media consumed and a media that I want to consume list. So what I'm actually going to do, rather than putting a dot point down, is I'm going to put a tick box. And by a tick box, I mean that I'm going to use my Zig Clean Color dot marker once I figure out which color I want, and I'm going to put those down the edge of the page so that I can tick off once I've actually consumed that piece of media. Because rather than having like an entirely another space in my journal for recommendations and stuff, I would rather just have it on this page. So we're going to still highlight every second row. Come on, Jess, you can do this. But we're going to have a dot list down the kind of first column that I can use to tick off whether I've done the thing. Or we could do it like that and have it as a tick off space. Oh, I'm so conflicted. Okay, so I can either do the dots or I can have the highlight. And I think that now, as I've thought about it for all of about 5 seconds, I might want to do it this way just because it'll tie in better with what we had on the year of planning and Friday fun. This is also something that I'm quite mindful of when I'm doing my journal setups, is that I really like things to be cohesive and I like to have repeated elements. So having this type of like very, very minimal Alastair method might be more suitable, just given the fact that I'm going to be using it on the year of planning and Friday fun pages. So I think we'll actually go with this. I know that this seems like, Jess, you're totally overthinking this decision. Just pick one and deal with it. But yeah, I think that this is going to match better. And I like matchy. This is going to make me, it'll make Jess smiley face. It'll make future Jess smiley face. Especially because I think that I'm going to be using the dot markers for like the header as well. So like we had on this guy here, we have the dots to put in the symbols or whatever that I'm using to say like what each of these columns represents. And then we can have, yeah, the highlights. So the dots will still be there. I mean, I just don't think that this is a fair comparison either, because that one's messy as heck and this one's very cute. So I think that what we're ending up doing is we will have the highlight going down the page. We'll have this kind of first column highlighted, highlightioned, and then we can have the dots along the top to say like, this is what that signifies, and this is like MEDIA or whatever, media. And I can write stuff in there. So it'll be like tick to say like we did the thing, media. Or if I don't feel like doing that, if that feels like kind of not in keeping with the rest of the aesthetic, I'll just do this dot and then leave those ones out. I'll figure it out. But for right now, that's not a Currentus problem. Our Currentus problem is making sure that things are penciled in for us. Soup. That looks cute. Do I want to go that high? Yes. No. I've been watching this guy who does shorts of like just a lot of H2O just add water, and I don't know if any of you know what I'm talking about, but it was this mermaids show back in Australia. And I know that they had it in other places, but it was like, yeah, an Australian mermaids show. And anytime they touched water, like with their skin, yeah, not drinking it, but like with their skin, they would end up turning into mermaids, because I don't know, it was whatever, but it was like aggressively Australian, and like you watch it back now and you're like, God, that was dumb. But it was like, that's because current me is not the target audience, past me was the target audience. I loved H2O just add water. But I've been watching this guy who just does videos of that, and it's absolutely excellent. I think his name's like Tyler Warwick or something. He was hilarious. Anywho, so this one is a tick list to say whether I've done the thing, and then this is going to be a media. Yeah, and then this is like, I'm just going to hold my media page. Like, I want to, okay, I'm just talking to myself. Just write your damn header in, Jessica. Media. And I know that it's too bright and you can't see anything, and I apologize for that. That's 23. That's very dark. You can barely see it still, but still. We're getting it done. We're getting things sketched in. Media is here. That is our header. That one's just going to be the header for the whole thing. And then we'll do the same tick media header over here. And it's just going to be a full page spread. And we'll be able to do the decoration along the top here and keep it kind of simple, keep it kind of little. Let's see. 20 minutes have elapsed. Tink. All right. Drinking water is important, or whatever you're drinking, because it's still liquid, right? Yes, my current rule for myself is that I have to finish my later bottle of water before I'm allowed to have a Coke. Otherwise, I just won't drink water. And by won't drink water, I mean I won't drink straight water. Did you say that you were using stickers for this setup? Technically, yes, but also no. So it is, I'm treating them like they're stickers. It's actually a washi tape roll, yeah? So my beautiful roll of washi tape from the washi tape shop. And it's got upside down much. It's got individual designs, but you just cut them out. And I'm going to use them as stickers. So it'll be cute. I'm excited for it. Yay! Whee! Now I need to roll that up again. There we go. Rolling distraction. But we'll put that back on. Is that a sticker? No, you're just stuck. Is that a sticker? No, you're just stuck. Interesting choice of language, but it's fine. We're good. So the media page is pretty much done. We're going to have the decoration along the top. I just need to cut out a whole bunch of decorative bits. I think that this is going to be another one, possibly, where I try and use that kind of more condensed floral piece and then just stick them along the top and then trim away the excess. That would be pretty cute. I just don't know how many of these I have in the sticker roll itself. It's a fairly long roll and we've got a good repeat of patterns, but it's also a very long pattern. What's the word? It's like the repeat is like a meter or something. So it's like you have a meter of tape and then it repeats the designs again. Something like that. I think it's a meter. So we've got a lot of stuff to work with effectively. So looking cute. This one is going to be my savings tracker. Okay, let's get our little sketches out again because I need to know what it is I'm actually doing for this one. That's what I'm doing. Nothing. I'm doing nothing. So I haven't decided yet what I want my savings goal to be, and that's why I haven't sketched anything in here yet. And I really feel like I need to pick that first so I can design a layout that actually works for that. So we might leave the savings tracker for now. What I was planning on doing for the bills tracker was having the decoration down the side. So there might be a possibility that I don't have any decoration on this part here. So yeah. I think that, okay, if we go back to the last time we did this, the reason that this guy got decoration and that page didn't is because this is the very first, kind of inside cover-esque kind of page of the notebook. So it doesn't need anything. It's not getting any information put on it. That's why it didn't get decoration. We don't have any decoration repeated that's like these guys until we get down to Nujo notes, possibly. I just put a little leafy bit in here so it felt like it had some. So maybe on the savings tracker page, we can put some kind of smaller individual decoration rather than a decorative corner or a decorative panel piece, if that kind of makes sense. What is this? Is this a distraction? I'm not a distraction. You guys are talking about your own ice creams. I'm not part of that. For anybody who doesn't have the chat enabled, they're like, what the heck are you talking about? So in terms of the savings tracker, haven't decided how much I want to save or how I'm going to do the saving, because in my mind, there's kind of two ways to go about it. I can either try and save to a total or I can try and save an amount, yeah? And if I'm trying to save to a total, that's possibly a little bit messier. No. Yes. No. So trying to save an amount is kind of like, hey, I'm trying to save I don't know, we're just going to say $200, right? So I have a block of $200. I split it into even amounts and then record when I save each of those amounts. Tick, tick, tick. Whereas if I'm trying to save to an amount, a total amount in my account, then I'd probably be more inclined to do it more like a graph and then have the 0 mark is my start amount, however much that is. And then I have the target amount at the top. And then maybe each week or something, I can specify getting to that amount and then map it over time, how I approach that goal, if that kind of makes sense. Oh, it was me discussing layouts. I think that the layouts are on point, on topic. I am also on point. Huzzah. Your question was about the layouts, not the ice creams. I was like, because the ice creams to me, I'm like, that's the distraction. I'm not the distraction this time. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Anyways, so I'm thinking that I'm actually kind of, now as I've even just drawn it out, I'm thinking that I might want to go with this one, mainly because I love a good graph, and it's been a while since I did a graph. Ooh, graph. Yeah. So we're going to go with a graph instead. I haven't decided at this stage how much I want on the graph. Like, I don't know what my target is. But I think that setting a target amount shouldn't be too bad. So savings. I might want to have like a kind of little summary at the bottom of that space. And I know I haven't actually planned this out anywhere, but the idea would be like a little kind of summary at the bottom as to how much I've gotten to each week, kind of a little description. And then we can have the graph at the top, and then we can have the header. So we'll put the header in because that one's easy. So this is, I'm just going to call it savings, because we don't need to call it savings tracker because it's kind of obvious that it's a savings tracker. Like, we've got the amounts and we're keeping track of them. I kind of leaned away with using the word tracker in things recently. So rather than like, setting up a habit tracker and then titling the page habit tracker, I'll just call it habits, because it doesn't really feel like you need to write tracker on it, because it's like, duh. Having said that, I'm pretty sure that I wrote the word tracker in my current habits tracker, but shh, I'm allowed to be a hypocrite. Okay, I'm not. But this is just ramblings of crazy Monday morning Jess. Savings tracker, but without the word tracker. So we're just going to do like start, goal, and I can just give myself the amount. And then we can have the actual tracking space. This can be the tracking space. Now I want to probably have a box around the tracker, but I also need a space to write out the labels on the side that say what each of the different kind of divisions mean. I hope that this makes sense. I'm not really explaining myself well. I'm thinking, excuse me while I go and check my savings because I can't remember how much I have in here. And it might be an unrealistic goal to get to my next like whole amount. Like, not a whole number as in like, hey, you put 7 cents into your account, good for you, but more like a kind of a nice number that has like some zeros on it. Yeah. And I think that that's gonna, let's see. How much space do I have? Do I have enough space for 7 centimeters? Should probably also check how many weeks there are. Where's my baby? Where's my baby? By that I mean my year at a glance. And I know we've already counted this. It was 15, right? Roughly 15? Weeks. June to August. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, 14 and then one extra. So 14 spaces at the bottom to say how much we've saved. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then this guy is going to be the running total. NNING, and then total. I might change the word total so I don't have to do 2 big T's. Yeah, I think it was 15 when we were doing that kind of like extra week to give me a little bit of buffer. But for the actual life of this journal, it's only going to be 14 weeks. But I might end up just tacking in that 15th week anyways, because then at least I have those kind of highlighter lines to kind of guide me in terms of like sectioned off space. But at the same time, maybe, I need to figure out how much space I need across A, because I wanted to do it on a week by week basis. I'm doing super, super well here. Alrighty. Oh, you think it's only 10, but you just had the nicest sip of water. Well, heck, let's join you. Tink. Delicious. So, 14 weeks, 7 centimeters. I do have enough space for 7 centimeters. And that means that I might just give myself a little bit of buffer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That was too far. We literally just said, okay, this is where I'm cutting it off. Cutting it off. Because I want it to be fully encapsulated in this box. I hope I end up liking this one because obviously we're kind of planning this on the fly a little bit more than the other ones where we had like thumbnails to work with. So yeah, this guy here was the first week of June, which is like the. Am I gonna do week numbers? I'm gonna do week numbers on this because I think it'll be more helpful. Like give me another excuse to look back at this little cheeky year at a glance gorgeousness that we've got going on over here. So then that would be 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. And again, if you're trying to count and I'm distracting you, I apologize. Oh my gosh, though. I'm so excited. Like, I know that this is just pencil sketches, but I can kind of like start to envision what this is actually going to look like when it's all set up, and I'm getting very excited about it. I love new journal time, like so much, and I know that I get a bit. You might be able to relate to this. I get a little bit nervous about setting up a new journal, like what if I cock it up, or what if I forget something and then I have like I don't have a layout that I need or whatever. So going in and doing this pencil stuff first just gives me a lot more peace in terms of that. Like I feel a lot more at peace coming into a journal with my pen to do my setup if I have all of this penciling done ahead of time. It just makes my life a little bit easier. I'm not going to write axis labels on here because I don't have enough space for it. I didn't give myself enough space. I could technically write an axis label up the side here. I don't think I have enough axis label space down here, unless I take out the header that says running totals. Like I don't technically need it. Fine, we'll set up a table in a proper way. Jeez. So this one is going to just be week number, and I will center that properly at some point, but not right now. And this one is going to be total savings. So that it's like, it's not the amount that I have saved in that period of time, it's the total savings. Because if we were doing amount saved, I would probably do this more like a bar graph rather than a line graph. This is going to end up being a line graph if my tiny picture didn't give it away. So the line graph is good for changes over time. So it's like, because we're dealing with weeks here, yeah, then we can say like over this period of time, over this span of time, this is the rate of increase in the savings account. Whereas if I was doing like the amount saved each and every week, I would be more inclined to do something more like, saved. It's like in the first week we saved this amount, in the second week we saved this amount, in the third week we saved this amount, kind of a thing. Because these numbers that we're putting in here, they're independent of each other. They don't like build or grow on each other. Whereas this one is showing like a growth over time, if that kind of makes sense. Oh, I'm sorry that you have a headache. That's lame. Hopefully you are drinking lots and lots of water and taking care of yourself. I'm not very good with headaches. I'm also, I don't know if anybody else has this issue. Like I weirdly, like not intentionally, I weirdly resist taking pain medication. I just kind of sit there and suffer. And that's not to say that I'm like against pain medication at all. Like completely understand why people take pain medication. I just like don't do it. I just kind of sit there and go like, "Oh, I'm sore, I'm sore, I'm sore." I'm like, "You have a solution to this. Like, just go and take the Nurofen or go and take the Panadol." And I know that, like, they don't necessarily work in all situations or whatever, but it's just like it's not my first thought. My first thought is not, "Hey, there's a potential solution. Like, let's just go take the pain meds." And it's not like it's one of those things like you don't get an award or something for not dealing with your pain. I hope that doesn't sound critical because I'm talking to myself here. I'm like, Jess, you don't get some kind of award for like just sitting there and suffering. Just go and like deal with it. Just go and do the thing that you know that you can do to potentially have done with it. Yeah. And then when you do it, you're just like, I so should have done this earlier. And I just like maybe I just don't learn from these things. Anyways. Yeah, see, and that's the thing. It's like sometimes the pain medication doesn't help, and sometimes the pain medication isn't like suitable. Maybe it's the wrong type of pain, or like allergies, or like whatever. There's a lot of factors here. But as someone who is not allergic to pain medication and can usually get relief from pain medication, I take a lot of time to get to the point where I'm actually willing to take pain medication. It's weird. Anyways, yeah, very that. Like the message for today, obviously, is take the drugs. There we go. If you take anything away from this, it's take the drugs, right? But only the good ones. The good ones that are the pain medications and that are legal wherever you're living and all of that kind of stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then this will be, we'll just do a little header. Running totals. And then we could, oh, yes, I could actually do like 2 columns. One that says like, the amount, the total amount in the account, and then like the amount saved that week. Yay! I'm going to do running totals on that side though. That side is the running total. We'll try and get it fairly central because of the reasons. Oh, we also need a space to write the date in. So week number. So we have week number, we have 2 columns here, 4.5. So that'll be the running total. And this will be the amount saved. So this side here on the left is going to be like the data that we had in that bar graph type thing. And then this side on the right is going to be the running total for the amounts that are actually in here. I just like to have the actual specific numbers written down so that then I can see kind of exactly what it was, because this is kind of a little bit of guesswork, right? Because each of these gaps is going to be, however much. We'll just say how many is like that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's just say that this is like $700, right? So this centimeter represents $100, which means, if I save $50, that's fine, because that's like smack bang in the middle. That's kind of easy enough to see. I say it's easy enough to see. You guys can't see anything, can you? Because it's really, really hard to see. So hopefully you can kind of see, like, we've got a dividing line every centimeter, yeah? So if each of those 1 centimeter blocks is $100, it's fairly easy to plot on the 100 mark. Like, if I get my total up to, like, this $100 mark, I can just put it on the dot that's already there. It's kind of nice and easy. But if I have any amount that's in between that, I mean, except for 50, because 50 also has a dot, but any other amount in the middle of those ones gets a little bit trickier. So I would like to have the graphic to kind of show the growth over time with the graph, but then also the space down the bottom here to specify exactly how much it was that I ended each week in. Hopefully that makes sense. How am I finding the Travelers so far? So far, so good. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I wouldn't say that I have a lot of experience with it yet because I'm just sketching stuff in. I like the challenge of having to try and, like, see if we can get something in here that's actually going to focus properly. Not that this is related to what I'm talking about, but I'm just turning my autofocus off. I like the challenge of having a different size to kind of work with. I appreciate that because it helps in terms of like the creativity aspect of things. Like, I am more likely to think about layouts more in depth and be more intentional with my planning if I'm using different sizes of notebooks every so often. And that kind of helps in terms of like that kind of creativity kick. Where is Bronwyn? That's a great question. Where is Bronwyn? Hi, Bronwyn, if you're watching this at some point. We missed you. We missed you here. Week number, blah, 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 savings. We said, like, I might put a little bit of decorative stuff up in the corner here. So, like, maybe I could just chuck in, like, a little floral piece that sticks out the top, just to kind of tie it in with the rest of the theme. I will decide that when I get to the day, though, because I don't think it's fully thought through here. Your handwriting's too big for it. Yeah, that can be tricky too, eh? Like, my handwriting fits. I mean, let's put it this way. My handwriting is no Monica's handwriting, which is tiny as heck, but I do not have too hard of a time fitting stuff into the grid boxes, so travelers should be okay. In theory. I do know that the width of this is less than the B6, and in the B6 I had trouble because I couldn't do like 2 lines. Hey, excuse me, it's not handwriting hate. I love your handwriting. It's gorgeous. How dare you? Like, it makes me angry though. I want to shake the journal because it's just like, it's so pretty. Anyways, I think that I won't be able to do 2 columns of my task lists in here, which is going to be a little bit sad, but it's cool. It's fine. Yeah. We have several Moments That Matter peeps missing. And we also have Moments That Matter peeps who are now on YouTube as well. We have people who joined the YouTube team thing. The little button that says join. We had people who joined Moments That Matter on YouTube, which I thought was very exciting. I was like, oh my gosh, new team members. Beautiful. If you're looking for the team members who are here on YouTube, they're the ones that end up with the little conical flask beside their name. I think that we had Jordan here. I don't know if Jordan's still here. I think I saw someone before, but I can't remember because my memory is poor. Apologies. But Jordan's was like the first person who joined our YouTube team, which was very exciting. So like claps for Jordan. Claps. So they have a little rainbow flask by their name now because they're like an OG YouTube member, team member person. But yes. Oh, Tink, of course. There we go. Tink. Yeah, Monica's special because she's got a spanner. We're all kind of special here. There we go. What was I trying to do right now? I've lost my train of thought. I need a ruler. All right. So for the bills space that we're setting here, yay, Jordan is here. I knew you were still here. Look at that. Look at that conical flask. So beautiful. Sadly, if I put you up on screen, it just shows up as this kind of like, I don't know if it shows up the same on YouTube, but it's like a circle with these weird lines in it, but like, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. So that's like the team with a capital T. Capital T team. Anywho, so in terms of the bills tracker, I wanted to have 4 sections. We're going to have the kind of panel of decoration down the side, but have 4 sections so that we have June, July, August bills, so I can kind of keep track of them, but then also a space for every month bills so that I know what is like specific to the month versus what is kind of like something that happens every single time. Oh, yay! We got another one. It's Jamie. Welcome to Moments That Matter. That's so exciting. Round of applause. Look at it. It's green. It's green because it's special. That's very exciting. Thank you, Jamie. It's a pleasure to have you as part of our team with a capital T. Bam. I hope that you enjoy your perks as being part of our team too. Oh, you got some lollies from Australia. Nice. I've been munching on Twisties that my mum bought me. My mum and my dad, they bought me over from Australia, and I've been enjoying those very much. So let's see. We need I probably want a header. 19. That's such a really, really unfortunate number. See, and now Jamie has a little conical flask by their name too. I loves it. Beautiful. So we've got 19 spaces. And I want 4. I've actually got a ruler for this. So if we go to the back of my current journal, because the vertical size is the same, I can use my little ruler. So so hopefully I put the quarters on here. I did put the thirds. Oh, yes, okay. There we go. We have the quarters. So we do have a little video where I set this ruler up. But you can see that I've got 1 through 38 written out the side because that corresponds with the dot grid we have here. And I have the quarters mapped out for myself. So that's nice and useful. There we go. Put that there. Does that look about right? I've kind of tried to give it a little bit of a division. Possibly. Let's do a measure. So that is 4 centimeters. That is 4 centimeters. That is 4 centimeters, and that is 4 centimeters. And look at how easy that was. I didn't have to do any maths because I already had my little paper ruler set up. Yay! Oh, yay! We've got a new team member. Yay! And they have entered progress over perfection. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I kind of get a kick out of the names of my tiers because I like to make them all kind of like semi-goal related. So we've got like Team Tiny Wins, and we've got Team Progress Over Perfection, and we've got Team Slow and Steady, and we've got Team Moments That Matter, because those are the ones with the hangouts. So you guys get to have like an exclusive hangout with just like the Moments That Matter team as well. But yeah, anywho, I'm getting myself distracted again. Distraction counter +1, I know. Ooh, Snicker bars in the freezer. Interesting. I like Snickers shots more than I probably like Snickers bars, but that's because I'm kind of persnickety when it comes to having stuff in my chocolate. I don't know what the E looks like, so we're just going to do this, and then I'm going to have to go look it up. Every month, we're kind of doing the same header types. Do I want to do, actually, I'm probably going to do something a little bit more basic for these headers, only because I feel like it will distract from the page header, which is going to be bills, which I'm going to have to, again, look up what the B in this lettering style actually looks like. Bills. Yeah, no, yeah, Snickers shots are really good. For snickety funny. So for Snickers shots, I think it's like this. The only part that I actually remember is the salt that I think that they put on it that actually kind of brings out the kind of peanut-esque kind of flavor. It's quite tasty. It has been many, many years. Many moons have passed since I took Snickers shots, so I'm not really too sure. There we go. It's at least 4 since I joined, about 1.5. Wait, what are we tracking? Are we tracking my shots? Oh no, it's the distraction counter. Okay. I was just like, I haven't been taking shots. I've been really good, and I've been hydrating. Tink. Look, guys, I'm getting through my water, which means it's almost time for me to have a Coke Zero. Great success. Let's see. So for the headers on this one, I'm thinking that I'm just going to do a like bar of color, possibly. A bar of color for each of them. Make it kind of simple and clean. I'll probably use my like the washi tape trick that I typically do, where I mask the page to put it down so that it's very nice and solid. See, this is the thing. When I do my like every second line of color, I'm totally okay with just going and freehanding it because I pretty much always use a really pale color. When I do this like header bars, I'm usually using a more saturated, darker color, and I don't want that to go cattywampus and get off kilter because that will annoy the ever-loving heck out of me. So that's why for my, start of journal setup in this one, when I had those color bars, let's see, because I know I used some red ones. These ones are a lot more saturated. I wanted them to be very crisp, very clean. But when it came to doing the every second line highlighted, because this was a pale gray color, I wasn't so anal about it, I suppose. I was going to be a little bit more freeform with it. It was okay. So just to check, 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's not going to work. Devastation. That's okay. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. She lies. We're fine. No, I don't like it. I hate it. I can't do it. I hate it. But I can't put you up one higher. For clarity, just so you understand what I'm hating on right now. Like we talked about before, when I do the highlighted lines, I like it so that the last entry is a highlighted line. Yeah. So like the very bottom of the page here, I would like it to be highlighted, right? Because I think it caps it off nicely. But if we're going with every second line highlighted, then it's that one, that one, that one, and that one. But if I hold this up so you can actually see what I'm talking about, then my last highlighted line is backing onto my header, and I don't want two colored blocks right next to each other. So the potential solution here would be to put that colored header, like the one that's going to be done with the what's the word? The washi tape header, yeah? The one where I actually like do it properly, mask the page and stuff, I could put a one higher, but then I have to do it with every single one that we have here, which means that this one at the top is going to really start encroaching on the bills header, and I don't know if I want that. Let's see, because have I done a similar thing here? Because this was 4. So what did I do differently about this one? I mean, technically those are all 2 headers, and that's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. 7. Minor amounts of annoyance. Grr. Do we only get the colored username in this chat by joining the YouTube memberships? So yes, if you are a member, then I think you get a colored name. And also if you're a moderator on the channel, then you get a colored name as well. But that's just so that you like really stand out as a moderator. Oh no, I'm sorry that your packing paper got wet. That's hard. Packing up a house is hard in general. Like, struggle bus. The struggle is real. Let's see. I don't know how to fix you. I could either, 1, suck it up and just deal with having the colored line right next to the other colored line. Not likely. Or I could just deal with having the highlighted line not on the bottom. And I don't want to deal with that either. So maybe I just turn this into savings and bills. And I use the whole layout. I detest this. I detest this. Okay. We're going to do that one. And we're going to erase you. Maybe. But that means that you're going to be the colored one. And then you, and then you, and then... How many? 1, 2, 3, 4. You. And then that would be a block. And then that would be a nothing. And then that 1, 2, 3, 4. This isn't going to work. I don't even know why I'm penciling it out in full. Because 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that would be the colored block. I mean, I could put it 1 higher. But I don't like it. Oh. Surely I've solved this issue before. Okay. So this one was my 101 things, and that was when we did 1, 2, 3, 4. I could do it like that. How much space is that across? That is 9.5 centimeters. How perfect. So if I wanted to take up the full page and not have any decoration, I could just do it like this. But that is a lot of space for bills, and I do not need that much space for bills. Like, that just seems unnecessary. Or I could just turn it into 3 sections and then just record the every month stuff on every single month's one. Like, that could be something I do. Do I know anything about the June sub box? Yes, I do. It's sitting right over there on my desk. Over there. Poink, poink. Oh, I forgot to turn my autofocus off. Apologies. Yes, I do know about the June sub box. Can I share things? Not really, no. I am excited to share things with you, though. I will say there's one item in it that, like, I don't know if people are going to be as excited about as I am, but, like, I was really excited about it. Like, I think it was, like, the first thing that I got out of the box, and I'm like, oh my god, I've been waiting for this. I needed this thing. But that's all I'm saying, because I'm not allowed to say things, I assume. So that doesn't work. We're gonna get rid of this. I might need to do some maths, which, again, I'm not against maths. I like maths. Maths is good. I just don't know if I can be bothered doing it right now. Stop. Now I'm curious. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I felt very blessed that they offered to send it to me, because, yeah, I mean, I was getting a little bit of FOMO, not gonna lie, a little bit of FOMO that I was, like, not getting the box and not getting to see the box and all that. And I'm like, yeah, but Jess, you're not part of the team. Like, you need to calm down. Which, in part, like, part of it was sad because then I couldn't do the sharing, but then part of it was also really exciting because then I could be part of the team that's, like, figuring it out. Yeah. The people who's, like, going through all of the stories of all of the different creators and, like, trying to pick out the parts of their pictures where they've, like, sneaked something. Snuck. Anyways, whatever. Let's see. Hope you don't give an aversion to maths. Yeah, I know, right? Like, I do. I like math. Math is good. Math Math is very useful. It's just I'm being lazy right now. I'm being lazy. So there were too many options for this as well. Like I could also just make it lesser and then change how I'm doing the decoration as well. Like I could just do a decorative top corner. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll... Okay, we're just gonna make it super easy. Because how many bills do we actually have, right? Don't answer that question. It's probably a horrific amount. And I mean, technically also these don't have to be equal as well. Like I could have, I probably like each of the months to be equal at the very least, but I don't need to have the every month box be the same size because it is recording things that are every month that happen every month. 1, 2, 3, and then this could be that, and then we can have a blank. 1, 2, 3, and then this could be the header, and we'll have a blank, and then 1, 2, 3 header. So that's 1, 2, 3 months. And I think that that's like plenty of space for what the bills actually are, because I don't expect to have to populate this hugely, but you know, somewhat. And then if we do 1, 2, 3, 4 thing for that, and then we can have the bills header, and then we can have like a corner decoration instead. And I think that that will work. And I know you guys can't see it, and you're just like, Jess, none of this is visible. Why are you doing this? There we go. So instead of doing the whole page being divided into equal spaces, what I've done instead is that we have one section down the bottom here for the first month, and then we have another section, I say the first month, it's the last month, another section here for the next month, another section here for the next month, and then the section at the top is larger because that's the every month section. Yeah, so this is going to be the like things that happen every single month, like my internet and my power, and I mean power and gas are together, so there's that. Phone, any subscriptions that we have, like that kind of stuff. So those are all going to go up here, and then we'll have the month by month here so that I can kind of start to get a picture of when things happen, because that's really the reason for this. It's not so much remembering to pay my bills, because I'm usually pretty good at that. Like most of them are automatic anyway, so it's cool. It's just getting a picture of like when I have larger sums of money coming out of my account so that I can better plan for those things. Because I feel like my finances I've been quite unintentional with. Like luckily it hasn't turned into anything bad, but it's just like I haven't been monitoring it. Which is probably a very privileged thing. Like, I mean, I say probably, it is. It's a very privileged thing. But, you know, something to be mindful of. I would like to be more intentional with my finances and have a better picture of what's happening when. Anywho. Dink. Murphy, if that question is for me, I'm doing washi tape for my decoration. So it's all kind of pieces from... I know they look like stickers, but it's just I've cut it off a roll. But a whole bunch of little washi tape stuffs. It'll be cute. So I think, yeah, we've changed the bills decoration. So it's not the side panel anymore. It's the top corner. That's mainly to fill in this space here that was going to be left blank. I mean, technically, I could take these 3 sections and put them 1, 2, 3 in the middle. But I like that this header is going to line up with this header. And because this header is going to be done in a like full block of color, I might actually do that in a full block of color too, which also means those spaces where I said I was going to use the dots, I'll probably use those in a full block of color as well. You know, just because I like it. I like it like that. I like it like that. Eat. Window down. Chilling with the radio on. House and projects. Okay, what did I say for this? I can't even remember, and I only did it a couple days ago. So I haven't actually really gotten very far with sketching this one out either. It was just the top and the corner decoration that I know I want to put in. And I'm actually not too sure what I want to do with that in general either. So we might skip that page, and I'm going to come back to it later so I can figure out... yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what I'm thinking. I like it like that. Nujo, notes, pages. I might do this one instead. We'll put in that one, and then I'll come back to house and projects later. So this page that we're setting up here is effectively my new journal's version of this page here. And we're going to do it pretty much exactly the same. Like you can kind of see it's got the little thumbnails, and it's got the notes section and the different pages we're using, which are these two parts here. One thing that I did note is that I didn't need as many notes, and I did want to have more space to write down layouts to include. So I'm going to make that one a little bit bigger. But we're going to do a fairly similar style. So the highlights for the headers, and then the highlights for every second road. Every second road? Every second row. I read road rash and got myself confused. Let's see. Next, Bujo. Squigga. So, this one is going to be called Nujo Planning. And I was going to change the N on that, what's the word? I know you guys don't necessarily know. Nujo Planning. Little p, not big P. Little p. Planning. I was going to change the N on my year at a glance because this N doesn't match the N that I've used in other parts. And I want to make them the same. We want how we say the matchy. I kept thinking this one is like a piece of eraser fluff, so I'm like trying to rub it off. I'm like, no, that's supposed to be there, Jess. So Nujo Planning, looking cute. It's going to need a little block header for notes. And just to check to make sure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many did I do last time? Oh dear. Because if we want to make it bigger, we need to make sure it's actually bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we did 6 last time. We're going to want at least like 7, maybe 8, because it'll be like end of year planning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Block header. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It fits perfectly. Yay! There we go. I love that. It makes me happy, and I love that. Now, the thing with these highlighted parts here, I've said to myself that I'm probably going to be using like a pale pink for every second line, probably, because I kind of want to bring out more of the pink that's in the color palette that's offered by the washi tape. But I don't know if I necessarily want to do dark blue for these, because then I'll have to use a white gel pen or something. Maybe I can use like a more subdued blue. Maybe something that kind of ties in with the pink in terms of like same level of saturation or same level of kind of like lightness, darkness. Undecided yet. Still need to build my color palette properly, but you can sit to the side. All is well. That looks great. This one. Now, as you guys probably are aware, if you've been here for a second, I have been very much enjoying using different size notebooks. So while this one is a traveler's, and that's the journal that I'm going to be using next, the one after that is going to be a square notebook. Yay. It's going to be very interesting going from something very skinny to something very wide. But it means that for these little thumbnail-y bits that I'm doing over here, we're going to need to make them actually look like squares. Otherwise, it won't really work. It's going to be harder to plan things out, because that was even a difficulty that I had with like these ones that I'm using at the moment. Like these are set up to look more like an A5 than they are for a traveler's. So getting the spacing and all of that is a little bit tricky. Let's see, did I do 2? I did 2. Yeah. 2. Or I could do 3. No, I didn't do 3 last time because I wasn't going to have enough space, right? Because if I did 3, then it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, what are you? No, arg. By 3, I mean like how many gaps that I'm putting between each of my thumbnails. Because when I did this one, I did 2 rows as a gap. And I was just thinking maybe I could have done 3 rows as a gap, but then I might not have enough space at the bottom to write stuff out. But then technically, like, I didn't need all of these. So, It's amazing that I'm planned so far ahead that I know my next journal is square. Yeah, it's only because I'm changing up what sizes of journals I'm using. Like if I was just using an A5, I mean, I know that it was an A5, but I wouldn't be able to tell you which notebook it was. I'd probably kind of trust in the heart of the cards and get to it eventually and figure out what I wanted. But because I know that I want to try a square next, it means that I actually had to kind of think about getting a square notebook because I'm like, I've got a stash of A5s. I do not have a stash of squares. I think I've got like maybe 2 square notebooks. I must have 2. Now I feel like I need to check. Distraction! Alrighty. So, yeah. Okay, I've got 2 square notebooks. Oh no. Oh no. I have 2 square notebooks. I also have a square sketching journal. I'm not going to use that because it's got blank pages. But guess what color both of those square notebooks are? No. Alrighty, I'm not gonna do 3. I'm only gonna do 2. But yeah, alas, the square notebook is of course blue, and both of them are, and I don't want another blue notebook. Like, I'm so sick of it. So I'm gonna have to get myself a new square notebook. What kind of square notebooks do they have at Archer and Olive? Okay, this is not a task for right now, Jess. You need to focus. But yeah, I'm probably going to end up getting another one then because I'm just like, I don't want to use another blue one. I'm like, I know that there is merits for saying like, you do not need to get me a notebook. I can get myself a notebook. I appreciate your offer though. But yeah, I don't want another Blue Joe. I need something that is not a Blue Joe because like there's just too many. And that's not to say I have anything against blue. Blue is a lovely color. I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of it. I like newness. That's why I am trying these different sizes. And if I have the same thing again, I'm just gonna be like devastation. Alrighty, that looks cute. That's 4. And then do I want a 2 space or a 1 space? Because oh gosh, use your words. Come on. I think that I am not going to put decoration down the side here. No, I lied. I'm totally putting decoration down the side. But that means that I'm going to need to know. That's 4. So if you're here, then yeah, okay. Then it's like effectively the same type of decoration that we had on the, what's them called? The first page, the year at a glance. We're effectively doing the same thing that we did with the year at a glance, is having like this kind of smaller decorative panel down the side. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. 12 spreads that I can play with. Huzzah! The snooze square. Oh, okay. Snooze. Oh, snooze, like the one with the pajamas. Yep. I don't know if I like that one enough. Oh, I might just wait until they have their summer releases next, right? They usually release a couple of notebooks at summer, and some are like fun bright colors. And by the time I'm actually using it, I'll be getting into spring and summer, so maybe I can do that or something. But this is looking cute. We're going to have the decorative panel down the side. I've got my like thumbnails kind of low-key sketched in. I do that with a ruler though, so if I've got enough at the top and I've got the side ones, I've got plenty. Like I know that it's just nice and easy. That's cute. Now, the next page, boom, is the monthly plan. And the monthly plan is one that I don't need to do a lot on in terms of filling in, and it's one that doesn't get decoration. And that's because the monthly plan is kind of like it's like a fully functional page. Okay, it's mainly functional. The monthly plan pages are these ones, yeah? That I specify like what theme am I going to use for the month? What are my color palettes that I'm working with? What fonts do I want? What kind of like quote aesthetic am I going for? And what spreads do I need? Now, obviously, in doing these ones, they're a lot more spread out than I have available space in here. So, you turned this picture into Miss Progress Over Perfection. Yay! I like that we have like the same perks between both of them. All right. So I like that because previously my YouTube perks were not the same as my Patreon perks, and now it's like one unified team. Huzzah! We get the perks. Alrighty, I'm getting distracted. I'm sorry. Wasn't supposed to get distracted. But I'm very excited to have you as part of the team. Okay. It's okay, Monica. I won't get swayed. I don't need to search for a square right now, but I want to search for the square. Don't do it. Okay, back to this. So in terms of the planning out here, I'm just going to have June, July, August, September. So then I can plan the next month, like the next journals next month ahead of time. So that's okay. So June, July, June. I just did like big caps letters, and I'm just going to kind of keep that. June. And then halfway down the page, 9.5, July. And then over here, AUG, and I'll know what I mean. I know what I mean. And 9.5 is September. Do you remember? Remember. And I like to have 1 centimeter squares for my color palette. I just think that it gives me enough space to kind of map out what colors I want to use, and I can see them quite clearly. I'm obviously not going to have as much horizontal space to draw all of them in, so I'm just going to leave it at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And maybe I don't have as large color palettes, which is fine because usually I only try and go for 5 or 6 colors anyways. It's just that when I did my March setup, I was using pretty much every single blue that I owned. So that was a different, it was not the typical. There we go. In terms of linking it from YouTube to Patreon, I don't think there's any way to do that. But if you guys haven't already and you want to join our Discord to hang out with a whole bunch of cool people, team members with capital T, whether they are on Patreon or YouTube, get a colored name on my Discord. So we've got blue, green, and purple colors over there. June, August, July, September. That looks cute. And then the rest of it I kind of just fill in as I go. I don't really think that I need to write that in, but we'll put 1 in for the sake of knowing what I'm doing. So label blank AE aesthetic, and then the spreads go halfway across. So if you're 9.5, we'll just put you at the 5 mark. It's fine. Spreads. And then I'll just do that for all of them. Not too shabby. Oh, waiting for your Patreon status to resync. Whoa. Get a pink journal. Well, maybe. If they have one available, I might just do that. Alrighty, team. So we've got the monthly planning pages kind of laid out the way that I want them. Then after this, I'm pretty sure it gets into June, which I've started kind of lightly sketching in, but spoilers, we don't want to see that. So wait a second. Okay, I had a worry because I knew that we had left one. Looking back to the start. Don't need to sketch in my name right now. I will do it before I actually go in, but I don't know what lettering style I want to use for it yet. We have the year at a glance with its mapped out numbers, so we actually know where stuff is. I know you can barely see it, but still. We have the future log with the starting in July rather than June, and then finishing on etc. because it's for future events. We have the 101 things broken down into the 4 months, and we have the self-care bingo with the reward space, so I can specify how I'm rewarding myself for those things. We have the year of planning and the Friday fun, so I can actually keep track of planning all of those. That's good too. We have my media consumed / media to be consumed page. So it's just going to be a space to tick off when I have consumed the thing, and then a space to write out what type of media it is. Nice little decorative panel at the top. Savings and bills, where we had 3 sections here, which are the same size, so that then we can have the 3 months. But then we also have a larger section at the top for kind of an not every day, every month, yeah? And some decoration in the side here. We've got a little graph, which I'm excited about. I love graphs. And then the house and projects, not too sure how this is going to look yet. Still needs a little more thought. Nujo planning with the thumbnails, the notes, and the pages, and then our monthly plans. That's not too shabby at all. Alrighty, team. I'm gonna have to skedoodle because I have a meeting in 5 minutes and I need to go and finish my water and drink a Coke Zero. If you enjoyed this video, though, please do make sure to give it a big thumbs up or just, I don't know, hit the like button. A big welcome to our new team members with a capital T. I'm glad to have you on board. And we will have another live stream next week. Make sure that you watch the community tab because I'm going to be getting your input in terms of what we should be doing our live stream on. So look out for that poll. Goodbye, gorgeous humans. Have a fabulous rest of your day. And I will see you in the next one.